Hey, brother Mikhail, good to see you. What's on your mind?
Greetings there, brother.
Yes, sir.
How's the how's the savant, Professor?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. See, we have the Queens, Wani and Nikki and Patty, and see, we have our brother Demp and a few of the gods, goddesses, Sister Aisha Kim. Um, who else? Brother Concern. We have the great black ones of the great black ones. Okay, so the 14th Amendment, uh, delineated FBAs is your citizenship or life support. Okay. Well, citizenship. Um, I think it implies contribution, um, building, um, engagement, vision, implementation of the vision via action plans, initiatives, agendas. That's relevant within this paradigm shift. If we don't have any of that, yes, it's on life support, as well as those who are being shipped out here or out of the US. What is your vision? Let's start there. What is your strategic paradigm building plan? Let's start there. Okay. It's easy to say, yeah, we want reparation, but what we really want is sovereignty. We really want to be left alone, to be able to build our vision.
Facts.
Do we have a vision of job creation, uh, entrepreneurship, wealth creation, technological leadership? Do we? Um, how do we benefit the great nation that we help build? We are Americans, so we are in a paradigm shift where the focus of the Trump administration is primarily towards, I would say, techno libertarianism, possibly techno determinism, techno capitalism. What is our independent FBA techno vision for developing technological innovation? And how are we going to drive advancements in machine intelligence, quantum technologies, ubiquitous computing? I mean, this is where the US is heading. The world is there, but US, of course, intends to lead it. Economic growth will be based on the US transitioning to an AI generated form of governance. Okay, well, how do we contribute to uh, economic growth through job creation? What is our contribution? How do we contribute to increase trade activity, not just locally or nationally, but also globally? How do we develop these new AI or machine intelligence driven industries? What is our contribution to national security? How do we strengthen national security through advancement in quantum technologies or ubiquitous computing or AI powered defense technologies or cybersecurity capabilities? What are our contribution, since we are people of the future and we're an innovative people and we are people who are constantly changing. How do we see ourselves, or how do we position ourselves as global leaders? How do we reinforce this American dream, that we help create? How do we reinforce that? Okay, so this Pan African thing is dead. In my opinion, it was never alive. It didn't have teeth. There was no true vision. There was no, or let's say, strategic vision plan. There was no uh, feasibility study. No one went to Africa to understand the African mind or the terrain and how to build a sustainable, so-called independent nation state. None of that existed. So Pan-Africanism never existed. Maybe in fantasy. Okay, scholarship, fine. We learned a lot about the past, but what did we learn about the future? Nothing, you see. So we don't understand the infrastructure or the digital infrastructure of Africa. We don't understand their political issues, tribalism, tribonomics, religiosity, revenge wars, right? How can we build inside their, their countries? We can't. We can build on the peripheral outside, but it's impossible to build anything that's sustainable because these people aren't stable. Their governments aren't stable. And most of the continent consists of kids. So how are you going to reason with children? You have to educate these children, and the men are like children also. Not all of them. There, there are many wise ones, but the majority are childlike. So how do you stimulate economic growth and development across a continent of 54 states with thousands of tribes who speak thousands of languages and engage them in trade or investment and technology transfer in the areas of AI or MI or machine learning? How do you do that? Well, you do that by starting or beginning with a vision. They have resources, unquestionably. That's why the Chinese are there. That's why the West is there. That's why the Indians are here. That's why the Russians are here. But we're not here. And they're damn sure there's no Pan Africans around. Imagine that Pan Africans with a plan. That's an oxymoron. So I think, with Trump's agenda, America First, that coincides with Black, or let's say foundational Black American freedmen first. Where's our agenda? If we win, America wins. Everyone wins. So I think we should, well, not should, it will benefit us if we stop complaining, stop reacting, stop focusing on the past, embrace the past, but through capacity building, provide training for the younger ones who are coming, build institutions, bring stakeholders together to plan and build this new paradigm, our new future. if we're going to truly be citizens. That's our responsibility. It's not, men, we don't sit back and see what Trump is going to do or what somebody else is doing.
Preach.
Man means mind. It has nothing to do with your penis or how much weight you can lift or how loud you can talk. What are we planning as men? We can never be men unless we build. So I just wanted to put that out there and thank the family for the opportunity to walk down your red carpet and through your beautiful velvet rope. And love you all and land, listen, and continue to learn. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mikhail.
Patty Cake?
Hey, I only thing I came up here to say is, since we have a troll, and I know you guys are, honoring the government by deporting them out of this space. Before you deport them out of your space, you can do some intellectual trolling and have that Trump, you know, him saying that the 14th Amendment is for, us. That would actually be a great idea, because y'all better be glad I was getting ready to come up here and troll him for you guys. But it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I was hungry. I done cooked me some spaghetti, and I was like, I need some dessert. And when he came up to the stage, I was like, oh, let me get up there before he leaves. Anyways, yeah. So actually, playing that recording for them over and over again whenever they come up here with that stupid stuff would actually be good. That's just a suggestion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have someone new on the stage. Church Wendy.
All right, let's roll with it. Church Monday, what's on your mind, man?
That head don't look Freeman.
Hey,
Yes, ma'am.
Church Worthy.
Not
Church
at
was
all.
Church,
It's
what's on your
normal
mind?
size.
Church.
Church, you got
Oh, wait. It's Church.
Church, I'm sorry.
Church Woody.
Go ahead, Church Woody.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
You must understand he is a prince. You have to say
Oh,
prince. That's what.
Church Woody Prince. Prince Church Woody.
All right, bro.
Okay.
You got 4 seconds to comment, or we'll move on to the next person. That's three, two, and one. Denny man, what's up? What did I skip somebody? Wait,
I don't know.
go ahead, Denny man. Huh? Denny man, can you hear me? In five, four, three, two, one. The black, have you had a chance to speak yet?
Nah,
Oh, dang, your hand been up a minute. Go ahead, black.
you good. You know what I'm saying? I moisturize. I use cocoa butter. It lasts a long time. The Vaseline kind. But but anyway, yeah, I want to start out by talking about the little 14th Amendment in this issue. I really feel like Trump has brought us one step closer to solidifying this delineation movement in concrete, and a lot of people are worried, and I'm liking it because most of us, a lot of our people are starting to realize no matter what side of the aisle you in, ooh, we sitting back eating our popcorn, just looking and saying we told you so, like the smart brats that we are, because we have it our way and they don't like it. Also, since Julio and Eduardo out here with the boo boo face and scared that they gonna get deported and they can't run out to no Native American reservation and try to pretend and pay their way to get citizenship. It's very funny that Trump has recognized the Lumbee tribe, which is a mixed mulatto tribe that does somewhat claim they Negro side. So I just feel like that's another opportunity for us to actually just push these $5 Indians out of the way and these pretendians and take over that side of our birthright because now it's getting to the point where the truth is unedible. You can't hide from it, and everybody nervous. And I'm just gonna keep on calling ICE, filling out my paperwork, and making sure I'm standing on business. But I wanna ask a question. And do you think that since Trump doing all this, it is he going to be the next Lincoln in the history books,
Well,
or
I wouldn't say Lincoln because Lincoln was not necessarily an ally. Lincoln was said very vitriolic things towards the Black American freedmen. Um,
I
Lincoln's
mean, we don't have allies, we have business partners for a moment. So for the
We
moment,
don't
you think
know
he?
what we don't know what Lincoln felt because they were calling him Lincoln Africanus, and he could have been acting out to prove he wasn't black. Because there's a lot of
right, right. The whole yeah,
they try to even say he had a disease to explain his skin color and his hair texture. By the
Okay.
way, so he has a sketchy background, and he could have just been saying all that stuff to be extra, extra white. We don't really know, to be honest. But he did say some extremely anti black
the
things. And
J. Rogers said Lincoln ordered back into slavery a 500,000 or more Negroes who had been declared free by one of his subordinates. How's that for
I mean,
loving black people?
Mhm.
I know he tried to deport us
Yeah.
to Haiti and make a place
Hmm.
in South America.
But we don't need a savior. We can just take these opportunities to help ourselves. So,
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of I see what the black was saying, and I wanted to kind of realign, not necessarily what you're saying, black. If I may, if my opinion means anything, I think
Oh yeah, you good.
it would be more aligned with Ulysses S. Grant. That was the president that um, you know uh, helped us get Reconstruction, and it's more of a parallel between Trump and Grant.
I can see that too. I can see that. That's a good comparison. I mean, none of them, none of the presidents was really for us. That's why I say it's we can say he was a good ally for the moment, and we used him for what we needed. Because at the moment, it his statements on the 14th Amendment and his past statements on us building this country and us standing on business and putting up the facts of each state is it's like I can kind of see us coming closer, and that's why a lot of people are worried because now white people are doing their own somewhat delineation and trying to prove who is who in America. You have your Ellis Islanders, your your Holocaust recipients, and others out here fighting with your white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. So I just see that it is a new realignment, and it's a good opportunity for us to take control of our side of the country, or because it. I feel like it's always gonna be somewhat of a black and white country. It's just I feel like we can go back to what the core was at the during Reconstruction, the ideas of white people controlling their little side and black people controlling their little side. And I want to add this before I land. PBS just showed the documentary about Wilmington and the race riot and kind of like the history of how it started and how it ended up. What's interesting, uh, a lot of these white people were first or second generation immigrants at that time too, and the people that was part of the Republican Party, or some people call it the Fusion Party because that's what they gonna call it too. Uh, they was the same what you call Mayflower whites, or yeoman slaves. There was, well, indentured service that ended up being freed and went down to the south and intermarried. So I just say it's an interesting perspective from a lot of these people and their descendants when you look at it.
Yeah, no cap, no cap. Appreciate you, the black. I see Florence. Florence, I hadn't seen you in so long. How you doing, Florence?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Okay, what's on your mind, love?
Oh, I was just thinking of how sometimes I go on these apps and I see everybody is, wants to put fear in us and what Trump is going to do to you, the black immigrants, you know, and I say I know we're not afraid, and we cannot be afraid of knowing what anyone is going to do because we really can see this is the age of truth.
Right.
And nothing can stop us and nothing can hold us back because when truth comes, that's when freedom comes. So I just wanted to encourage everyone to to stay on focus and don't let anyone come and put fear in you. I know most of the people on this app won't do that, but it's so it's just like what's his name, this man from oh my god, I can't think of his name right now, but he has a podcast, always talking right in his mouth. And Lonzo, I mean, I just heard them saying some of the most awful things. You think you're free, you think you're gonna be this, but Trump got. Wait till Trump get through with you. You're gonna have to leave too. So these conversations that they're carrying on is just to because
When did you hear this?
yesterday.
Was it in a room?
Yesterday, and then when I
Oh.
talked, one of the ladies, she said, "Black Americans are lazy. You don't want to get an education. I got an education, and you don't want those jobs that the Mexican have." I mean, they talk so terribly, but I knew they wasn't from here. She claimed she was a Black American. I said, no, you're not a Black American. She called me old, said all kind of stuff. So the guy threw her off the stage. I said, don't throw her off. I said, because that proves even more so that she's not Black American. We are not disrespectful to our elders, you know. And two, one thing, we didn't, this degeneracy that you see in these women, in this music, we didn't start this. This came from the Caribbean. When they came here and got into the music, they started this degeneracy because that's what they do in Carnival. I've been to Carnival. That's what they do in Jamaica, half naked, and the things they do. And the people, when they come, they bring their culture here. And if you just stop and look, you can see the difference in their culture and our culture. It's totally different. And we don't want to be overhauled with their culture of degeneracy, especially our women. So that's the one thing we, what to do. I really appreciate you, Wadi. I'm trying to be like you. I'm calming down because sometimes I can get so excited. You know, I said, Wadi is so
So do
calm.
I.
Yeah.
So do I.
And I appreciate Professor and Mikhail. He just have this commanding voice that sound like a old wise elder. When he speaks, he just there's something about his voice is so commanding. So I really appreciate you, young people, and I love you. And whenever I'm on this, whenever I see Wani and Professor, I always try to stop and listen. So I'm enjoying this. I'm out here in California, and I see how the culture changed in California. I mean, it's just totally. It looks like Mexico. On every
Mm.
corner.
I hope it
Yeah.
improves. I hope it improves for you. I'll probably leave the state because it's just all
Hmm.
foreign. I don't see any Americans at
Hmm.
all. I just wanted to build on one thing that you said about the culture. Well, they are number one in paternity fraud, which correlates with their number one in infidelity in
Mm,
Jamaica. So that is their culture, and it's very similar to the other Caribbean cultures around them.
true. Absolutely. So thank you very much for this time and for this. I'm enjoying this so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's good seeing you. Again, it's really good seeing you, Florence, Miss Florence. Um, let's see. I'm not sure if it's Bratnella or Detroit. Go ahead, Bratnella.
Hi, Professor Allen. Much respect to you. Much respect to Wani and Nikki the God and everybody in the room. The last time I had the pleasure of speaking with you guys, we were talking about immigration, and I raised my hand because there was a topic about Jim Clyburn and his fish fry, and who ran up on him, and we got that settled. And then I called on you, Professor Allen, to ask you about a particular author that you was talking about who had the same name as my father. Now, sometimes I use these spaces because I listen and I learn, and sometimes I use it for therapeutic therapy. But I just want to ask you guys a question, and I hope I don't offend anybody. But my profession, I do security as a profession. Um, my company, we did everything we do to renew our license and everything, and we renewed our license in March, and they sent us a notification 3 weeks ago saying we got to renew it again because we're unlicensed. But they had us sitting on post unlicensed, collecting money from the client up until now. Now they say, oh, you're locked out of the system. You can't work until you renew your license. I'm like, okay, I got a staycation for a couple of weeks. But most of these companies are run by a lot of immigrants, mainly Africans and stuff like that. They kick out all, black people and hire their families and their friends and non-black people, to give them all the hours, and they want to kick us out. So I just want to say, do you think I was wrong from the way I'm behaving or anything like that? Or I'm 65, so I can retire at any time. But what did anyone's thought is about that? And I'm sorry for using you guys for my personal therapist, but I just want to know. And
Yeah, I don't know. You said, "Are you wrong?" We don't know how you acted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We don't have any. We don't know what
yeah.
happened.
Total
what
loss of
happened
context.
was this.
That's
Okay, what
crazy.
happened was this. We renewed our license.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We need to stay
Yeah,
on
let's stay on
topic.
topic. I appreciate your submission, but this could get derailed and go somewhere, and this is a very important topic. So, if you have a question, you can DM me, and I'll look at it, and I'll get back to you at another time.
Mikhail,
Thank you, Wani, for bringing me back up. Just wanted to thank the sister Florence for her compliment. It just explained something about wisdom. I was raised by my grandmother, and in partnership with my mom. And my grandmother raised my cousins and my sisters as well. So we were brothers and sisters and cousins. And she gave everyone these cute names like KK and Lily and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And at the age of 6, my nickname was Old Man. And I asked her why she called me that. She said, because you were like a little old man, you know, because I'm not that old. But my mother said, Mikhail, you always knew what you wanted. It was either yes or no. So it's something that we all have, and that's what makes us as a people very, very special. And when we hear things that resonate with our soul, our atomistic spirit, we know that it's from another place. So But I wanted to thank you for that, and and I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone else. So just want to put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mikhail.
you.
Let's see. Juan, did you see who was next?
Dimp, did you want to go again?
Oh, I just wanted to. I actually raised my hand a little while ago. I've been hearing a lot. I mean, I would say this is probably my fourth time hearing this, and I haven't heard it addressed. I think it should be addressed. This statement that all we need to do is sit back and put our legs up and watch what happens. I know it's said in, with good intentions. However, by no means should we take that and utilize it in its literal sense. Ain't no sitting back. If in fact I say at this moment and moving forward, we need to get more involved. This is an opportunity. The door is opened by the reality of everyone else realizing that they're no longer there or have the positional role to keep that door closed. So we need to actually on the on the contrary, flood in those open doors that no one's behind the whole close anymore. We need to be more local, more vocal, loud, and and there. I'm talking about in position.
Local. You almost said get more local and vocal, which is a really good slogan.
maybe we on this. I mean, I'm heavily local. What I'm saying, get involved local, but um, I think Wani, you said it. Get more local and vocal and loud. Um,
You're
it's
right.
an
This is a
opportunity,
this is
man.
a
I don't see how
time.
nobody doesn't see it that way. What, we gonna sit
It is
back
a time
and
to
watch more white people get more white people who don't know what the hell they doing, trying to. We don't need nobody to speak for us, and that's the problem. We keep trying to expect white people to do something right when they don't know what to do. They don't have the wherewithal. The only people that can really address harmed communities is harmed people of these harmed communities. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can't keep being let down or looking at them to do, address everything adequately. We actually have to hold these people hand, yo. And we've been holding these people hand through grassroots. You know what I'm saying? Every talking point Trump had was literally from grassroots. It was from our conversations. Somebody tell me I'm lying about that. Every single
about Kamala not being black. She just turned black.
yeah, that the 14th Amendment conversation, we was talking about this
Yep.
long before the governor in North Carolina brought it up. And we
Yep.
come on, man. And delineation and the immigration problem. We was talking about this in 2020. Immigrants and their
Yes.
issues and how they extract. We've been talking about the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? We was talking about the Democrats in regard to Obama and everything moving forward, and Biden in the Biden administration and everything. We were pissed off about how everybody showed up to vote for Biden because everything Biden did himself. You know what I'm saying? Biden has been in government what for over 50 years. You know what I'm saying? He was a legislator. Everybody talks about the crime bill. But before that, when he was a legislator, he did the 100 to 1. He already knew what that would do to crime bill. It wasn't a mistake. That was further substantiation to demoralize and destroy the black community. You know what I'm saying? Like and that was in 1986, by the way. 1986. Look it up. The 100 to 1 bill. Then you had the crime bill in 1994. So we were talking about all of this stuff. And for anybody to think that that now it's time to get comfortable, it's going to be easy for you. No, if you don't step in, they're going to make sure you can't step in, and they're going to keep trying to give you these nothing burgers, and you're going to still be starving. And I'm not just talking about you specifically. I'm talking about your whole community and your community's grandchildren and grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? This is really for our future. Like, do y'all want to have grandchildren talking about the millennials and or whatever the hell you categorize as the Generation X didn't do shit? You know what I'm
Whoa, whoa,
saying?
whoa, 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 whoa.
Not so much on Generation X, because
No, no, but this
Well,
no man, you don't hear what they.
no, it's not the time to relax. This is the time to get very active
Right.
because they've mentioning the
thank
14th
you.
Amendment, and we want to jump on that and talk about, yeah, it's about us. It's not about them. Remove them from our census box and don't ever put them together again. We have nothing to do with them. We just want our own box. It doesn't have anything to do. So they don't suck our resources that we fight for away. They need to be delineated, which they already are. So now we just have perfect ammunition. We just need to leap on it.
Yeah, and I don't want nobody to here to act oblivious to the fact that we how many people, Professor Wani, from these generations today have said that baby boomers and Generation X failed us. They didn't do nothing.
A lot.
Exactly. So I'm saying that we need to make sure that that's not being said anymore moving forward. If they feel that way, we can,
Well, we can never ever rest.
right,
Right.
Ever.
right.
You always have to have an advocate, someone to advocate for our group forever. It's forever. It's forever. It's not about generations
Thank
anymore.
you.
It needs to be installed permanently. A group to advocate. See, we'll do it. We can do it.
Thank you, Wani. I'm glad you stepped in and said that. I don't them things. Where'd you get that? What you said, like we're gonna relax. I think what we were talking about, or somebody came up there and said something kind of remotely like that. I think that's during this whole deportation thing, because the title talks about citizenship on life support, which we know ours is not. But are we going to save them? No, we're going to sit back. So I don't want you to think that we were talking about we're just going to rest and let the white man do. No, 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 no. I think that's what the person was referring to.
Yeah, but I'm not just talking about that person, and I'm sure everybody on the stage has heard that already. Um, it's definitely being said. You know, everybody just sit back and watch and don't get involved and all that shit. No, I'm addressing that statement. I'm addressing every time I hear it, because even though that person may intended to say it that way, that's not how it's received. I mean, it's just as toxic as that statement. Vote for the couch. You know what I'm saying? That is a strategy, but in this last election, that should not have been an option or a statement made, especially by someone who has a large platform. And I'm not going to get into all of the weeds. What I'm addressing is a statement, and I'm making sure that it's applied in its proper context, so it's not misinterpreted by anybody who's listening to it. That's it. Um, and I'm making sure.
But I think we knew voting for the couch meant that that was going to harm the Democrats for people that didn't want to vote for Trump. You see? And it's also a temporary position, it's not a permanent personality. It's, right now we're just going to show you we're not interested in what you're saying, even though we're not all that interested in what the Republicans are saying. So that's not a permanent type of strategy, voting the couch.
Exactly. Exactly. 100%. Just like voting Democrats wasn't supposed to be no permanent strategy. People did it for 60 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Things change. I don't understand why people can't catch on to that. Things change. This is not your hometown sports team. Okay, I used to be a Lakers fan, die-hard Lakers fan to the core. Um, I ended up being a Bulls fan. Okay, things change. And politics change. So why on earth would we think we were supposed to be a lifelong Democrat? Just because you didn't like the personalities and in the base that the Republicans were drumming up, it still doesn't mean those things don't benefit us. If you're an American, what is happening now is going to benefit you. If you hate America, then you would vote for Democrats because they certainly want to tear it apart. What else could happen when you have it wide open and you have entire groups of people running across the board? What else could happen but the whole thing falls down? In fact, it still might fall down when these people are on the way out of here. It still might fall down. They're very angry with this country for drop kicking them out of here. Okay, go ahead, Mikhail.
Thank you, dear sis. And I just want to build on our brother Dan. Wani's right. Change is the only common thing in the long run. I mean, I'm from Philly. My team is in the Super Bowl, but my nephew's playing in the Super Bowl. So I'm with Kansas City. So now I'm a Chiefs fan. Things happen. Um, in terms of voting for the couch, that was part of a wider strategy. There were several strategies in play over the last 4 or 5 years. Uh, we quieted the noise, right, coming from the teleclass. We actively killed Pan Africanism. We delineated. That was part of a movement. We pushed reparations as a separate movement, separate but together. In addition to that, we aimed to put the Democrats out of business. So there were different strategies running in synchronicity, and some were aggressive, some were very strategic and subtle. And although the vote for the couch seemed static, there was a movement behind it because the rhetoric and the conversations and the clarity and the fact that we would not let the Democrats run our sister Janet Jackson down, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it was very active and very strategic. And I agree with you. We're winning, and winning is an active, participatory uh, motion forward. So we can't rely on those who are not enlightened to guide this experiment we call America forward. America is part of a continuum of our atomistic presence in Anu, Kush, Kemet. And now here we are those people. It's not the people on the continent, it's us. America is part of our continuum. 1,000 years from now, we will be legends. We're legends now. We are legends now, and actually the descendants of legends. In 1,000 years from now, they will be writing about us as these legendary Atlantean type people, you see. But to continue the legacy, we have to be actively engaged and doing things that make the world uh, spin a little faster. This is why I keep reiterating the paradigm shift. So I just wanted to build with you, brother. And we know each other, of course, uh, by your other hand. And I'm dialed in on what you're saying. I'll end. Thank you.
And I think they woke up the sleeping giant, you know, because we were just, our idea, our concept of everybody was totally different until 2020, and that
Huh.
was the year.
Tell
That
us
was
more about that,
the
Florence. Unpack that for us a little bit.
Yeah, that was the age because we looked at Africa. We saw we was able to look at America and see our role here in America, see what role we played here in America. We was able to look at Africa and see how they played a role in our demise. We was able to look at the whole world and we was able to look at ourselves and we saw our ancestors, really saw them and saw what they had done, how they had fought, how they had struggled, And I've heard so much about Dr. Clark and Dr. Amos Wilson, all these scholars that I've sat at lectures and sat at conferences and heard them talk and speak, you know. And I would hear the younger people talking about them. It just really amazed me. Dr. Claude Anderson is a personal friend of mine, and I think Denmark asked me if we would bring him on, and I talked to him. He did come on Twitter and talked. And there's an old man that was in World War II. He was the reason that America won in World War II. And he passed away now, but I'm still getting his tape that he made telling his story. So these are the stories we need to hear. And we see how our people have been heroes and sheroes and the roles that they've played in this country. But we would never be the same. And that's why everybody is looking at us. They want to know, what are Black Americans saying? What are they saying about this? Because let's look at Congo now. You see, I think Africa feel it was a bad move for them to put their foot in their mouth, because we used to jump up and run. What's going on in Africa? We was ready to go with all 100% fight and battle. But now we're just quiet because we are focusing on ourselves. Because we are the leaders of the world. We are the moral voice of the world. That's why everybody wants to know what we are saying. What are we saying? The Jews, what are we saying? We are not saying anything about anybody's issue, but we are focusing on ourselves. And I think with Trump being the way he is, he's looking at things differently. And I think we do have a chance because we can get his ear, and we'll have an opportunity to change some of these things. I think the 14th Amendment should be interpreted. Who was it really for? Just like the affirmative action. Who was angry when the affirmative action was destroyed? The Asian, who's supposed to be so brilliant, could get in all those schools, but now they can't get in there. So it's what they've projected to us, what they've told us, but now we are seeing everything. You can't lie anymore because this is the age of truth. So you cannot lie. We see, and we're going to move on. I mean, even I see how young people feel. I see how my sons feel. I see how I feel. It's no defeating us. We're on the march. We are going forward. No one can stop us. No one. And we're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to move forward. It's our time. They woke up the sleeping giant. Thank you.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting. Thank you, Florence, again. Enlightening, deep. Robert Blue, grab a mic. Let's see. Detroit, what's on your mind?
Hey, good evening, everybody.
What's up, brother?
Oh man, I appreciate the actual title. Um, I'm actually happy that there's some truth being said by anybody in that position called the president. What Trump said, he's actually making people understand that all these groups, wherever you came from, whatever your religion, whatever your belief is, you're actually not number one on the pecking order. We're actually number one. We were here before all of you. And if you listen to what he said, he's actually telling the world these are descendants of slaves. These are FBAs. This is for them. This is not for the person who came from Mexico. This is not the person that came from South America. This is not the African, even the European. This isn't even for you. This is for us. We need to actually take this truth and run with it. Um, I understand people were saying we should just sit back and have our popcorn and kick our feet up. I'm not going to say kick your feet up, but what I'm going to say is this. If it's two individuals having a fight and you're the third person, are you going to jump in that fight? Are you going to use their issues, their beef with each other, as an opportunity to gain your position? The Democrats and the Republicans are Europeans having a fight. That's not our fight. We need to focus on us. We need to build wealth. We need to get in tune with a lot of other things that maybe, like, for instance, where I'm from in Detroit, we not really heavy on getting guns legally. We want to get businesses. Cool. But you got to get a lot more things because I may not be a painter. I may know a guy who's a painter. Like we got a village that we actually can get to. All I'm saying is that this is the time so where we can go from A to B. Whatever that A to B is, it involves movement. Like for instance, I'm learning a lot from you guys. I'm not gonna sit here and say I know everything. I do not. I'm a simplistic person, but I know at the end of the day, this is the time for us to go from A to B. Whatever A to B is to your mind, to me, it's my grandfather coming from Swayze, Mississippi on a third grade education to me saying, okay, maybe my kid or my kids' kids will remember, hey, that guy, he was the person who changed the course of our family. And I'm saying we all can do that if we focus on us. The same energy and love that we kick out to every group. If we
Same
give
same energy.
half of that love to us, there's nothing that's stopping us because we don't really have a fear. We don't have any fear. If you already been in on the side of war, which I always say, there's all these groups are attacking us. We have no friends. We have no advocates. It is all about us. You have to look at it with love. You may not like your neighbor, your brother, but I love him. You may not like what your sister's saying, but I love her. I'm not gonna let nobody say nothing to disrespect her. That's why I understand what these Africans, they come over here and they get in this room, in these rooms, and it has nothing to do with them. This is not how to build Africa up room. This is how FBAs need to build themselves up and get better. Why are y'all here? Y'all sold us, and now you want to talk to us. I don't talk to them. I have nothing to say to them. I am as arrogant, as nasty, and disrespectful to them as they were to my ancestors when they sold us, where they had women raped and men raped. You cannot forget that. Your enemy will always be your enemy. Just remember that, and I'm gonna land my plane like that. And Professor Nikki on the spot, continue to do what y'all doing. I listen every day. That's all I'm gonna say. I listen every day. Thank y'all.
No cap, I appreciate you. We're gonna go to Robbie Blue in the housing. Go ahead, Robbie Blue, educate us, bro.
Good evening, good evening. Can you hear me? Shout out to you, Professor Nikki, and Sister Wani. I'll just simply say that this 14th Amendment is a receipt. It pretty much proves authentically, who we are and what our status was at the time,
Robbie
and it
say
wasn't
the deepest
intended.
stuff. He said it's a receipt. Damn.
Yeah, because how they acting like it is when it comes to our claims, since we're like playing Pictionary with people on the slow bus. So it's like, context clues, like. When you look at the language in the 14th Amendment, it was for specific people. Also, I want to believe that they also made sure they highlighted they were not referring to red natives because they treated red natives different. And then, you know what I find also very interesting, Professor, when it comes to the term of freedmen
Yes, sir.
in the British colonies. You had a lot of our ancestors, whether they were indentured servants or not, or even slaves to a degree, that fought for their freedom with the Revolutionary War, but then they didn't give us citizenship, some of us, right? So you had black people in the North who were not citizens that were free. Some were Freemasons. They eventually got that right. And then you had the enslaved. So when they talk about, well, you guys weren't slaves and I didn't benefit, it's like, no, there's a receipt right there that we have a symbiotic relationship in the creation of America that is infallible. So we're not like any other group of people here. And that shows that we're old because they always talk about wars have consequences. Well, we helped with the Revolutionary War. We helped keep the Union together. So you need to compensate us and make us whole because we don't work for free and we're not property. And I'll land my plane.
Love it, Robbie. The 14th Amendment is a receipt. Wow.
Yep, it's a whole, and it's going to be an invoice
Oh, we.
soon.
we. I'm gonna listen to this replay and take notes. Housing, what's on your mind?
Well, how you doing back?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to mention that when I mentioned sit back with the popcorn, I meant that because I already know how things are flowing right now. And some people must have got offensive behind that. Well, you know, that's all you need to do is just sit back and watch. Everybody's going to play their hand. The cards is going to be played. That's all Black America needs to do. It's about to go down, and we just going to let the smoke clear. But no one's eating popcorn and sitting down, literally. Everybody should be on their job. I got nieces, I got nephews, I got a son. So I already know what it is. I'm from New York, and like they treat Black America dirty up here, very dirty. You know, uh, Joe Biden, if they would have got in office, they would have tried to probably hang all of Black America. Thank God they didn't get in office. Thank God that Black America sat on the couch and didn't vote. And I land my plane.
Oh yeah. Appreciate your submission, brother. We're gonna go to hold on, I got my glasses on.
I thought it was somebody else's hand up.
Yeah,
Also,
Um,
I,
also had his hand up. I seen it up.
yeah, I see. Okay, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I
Hi,
can't say
how
that.
y'all doing? I just got a couple questions. Number one, you said that playback. How do you play this back? Because
Oh,
I wanted to ask you why you don't record.
yeah, it's recorded. It's on Nikki the God's YouTube channel.
Oh, okay, okay, yep. I'm going to subscribe. And then number two, do you know how they always complaining about they don't want to pay us our reparations because it's not coming out their taxes, right?
Uh-huh.
How do y'all feel about Trump abolishing the IRS?
Something that we could work, could work good out. I mean, I don't know.
Because if he does do that, they couldn't complain about it coming out their money.
Sounds, yeah, it's an interesting concept.
Hmm.
It is an interesting concept.
Juan, he's also
Hey,
talking about income tax too, not to cut you off, brother.
no, no,
I
no.
heard
I
that
was just gonna say
too.
because you know how he that old video of him saying they don't look like Indians to me, and just all the moves that he's busting. I thought
Yeah,
of
he
that when he
is.
was like, yeah, they don't look like Indians to me, and then because it's like taking out all the excuses of why they can't give us our reparations.
Yeah, he's doing. I've never seen any president in my life make this many power moves. He's got the Democrats. You can just listen to them. They are
Right.
shook. They don't know what they're like getting ready to impeach him because he's not doing acting normal. Like it's almost like, wait, you're doing things. You're not supposed to do things. They don't even have a real crime that he's committed. Just he's doing too many things. He's too active. He's actually fulfilling what he said he was going to do. We got to put a halt to this. These people are
Yes.
horrible.
And Wani, he's doing it within his job description too.
Yep. The scope of his job. That's just called scope.
We've never seen anyone do anything. I mean,
Hit the
there
ground
have been
running.
some there's been some presidents that did nothing. Like the whole
Yep.
thing. Nothing. And people got used to that. They're like, oh, they're not supposed to do anything. They're just a figurehead to go shake hands with other countries. They're not supposed to help us with our country. I don't know how the entire country got used to that. And people in general with politicians. Not only, I think where they made their mistake was that we had accepted that they don't do anything on either side. But when they started to harm us, when they started to really cause harm with their do nothing, that's when people started turning up on them.
Hmm. This whole thing is very interesting. Robbie Blue, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I
Rob,
was just going to say that I agree that I think the Democrats, if anything, they feel embarrassed because they tried to scare us with 2025. All they've ever given us are excuses of why they can't do certain things. And then you see Trump coming in, waving that pen. You see them being on code. They were concise about what they wanted, what the constituents wanted. And I just think they're barely getting started. So imagine after 2 or 3 years. It's like they really can't recover from this because it's proven. In other words, he set a new standard of what a president can do. So when they said, "Well, we can't do an executive order about this," or you guys are asking us to do something, it takes time. You have to get in the right candidates. We have to do a review. No, you just have to have the will. And what it is I still say neither one of them have an appetite for righteousness. But thank you for showing us what you can do. So when it comes to us, we can hold you accountable for what you're not doing.
right. Um, we're gonna do the Demph.
Why don't y'all want to pronounce my whole name, man?
Yeah, it can compromise
Because
me if somebody plays that back in the wrong
there's
place.
things going
I mean, that's
on.
my name.
Can you
It's not.
pronounce, brother? Can you pronounce your name so I know how to pronounce it?
Yeah, them
Oh
fags
my
on this shit.
God.
I can.
That's my
Oh
last.
I'm
my
My
lost.
middle
God.
name
What's
is
up, Big D?
look. My first name is them.
What's up, Big
Yeah,
D?
my
What's up, Big D?
pause, man. The first the first name is them fags.
Fine.
The middle name is on bitch.
Yo, fam, where you from? Yo, fam, where you from in New York?
Brooklyn. Yeah,
Okay, I'm from YO.
that's what's up.
Say what's you already
Yeah, I
know.
already know what's up. All right, so that's Jadakiss territory. But yeah,
No, that's Jadakiss, but that's the dark man
I got
territory.
you.
Hey, quick question, man. I'm a country boy. I don't know nothing about New York. What is YO? What does that mean?
Yonkers.
Yonkers,
Yonkers. Okay.
Yonkers.
Yonkers,
It's pronounced
Yonkers.
Yonkers.
Yo,
You need a bigger nose to say it. And you also need a
I just want
deviated
to I
septum.
just wanted I just wanted to I just wanted to take the moment to you know I'm not attacking nobody. I only brought up the statements I brought up to provide more clarity because when statements are made out of context, and this is from experience, I've been doing this for a while. I'm sure y'all all know this because you know my voice. Been doing this for a while, and people take statements like that to continue their. All right, I was muted. Okay,
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what
people
happened.
people make people take the statements because without context, and they use it to be inactive. And I'm telling you this 100% of the time. The people that don't get involved, that feel like voting doesn't matter, that feels like politics is not something they should participate in because they feel like they never benefited, use it to continue their inactivity and disengagement. And my only argument that I always pose to them, or the question that I pose as an argument is, if you feel like politics doesn't matter, then why do you feel money does? If you feel like money matters, then why don't you feel like politics matters? Politics matters. Politics shape your environment. Politics creates and changes, manipulates any environment you're in, every day you're living, and it's going to always be that way. Whether you're talking about your community, whether you're talking about your city, state, government, locally, or state level or federal level, whatever they choose to do does impact how you're going to get paid, how much you're going to get paid, all the way down to how you're going to raise your child and what you can and cannot do inside your goddamn house. That's how invasive politics got during the Democratic Party. They were trying to tell you that you don't have no say on what education your child should receive. They even brought in the CRT conversation. They even had LGBTQ people, what I'm saying, being a pinnacle of influence in your child's life and what you can't say about it. To the point where we can't even call shit out as it is. There was a point we
Preach.
couldn't call a woman and a man a man.
Hey,
Do
hey,
you
hey,
understand what I'm saying
hey,
here,
couldn't
man?
call a mother a mother, right? What
Right.
what'd you have to call a mother?
Birthing
Birthing
people.
people.
Birthing people
Jeez.
or
Come on,
birthing
man. Y'all
bodies.
gotta hit me on this shit, man.
That should be illegal. Anyone asking you to do that should be put in federal prison for
Federal prison.
25
Yes.
Do you
years.
understand the
Yeah.
confusion? that are
25
child
years.
experiences in their young tender ages that will manipulate and cause their brain to develop totally differently because of this confusion that
Hey,
was
hey,
embedded
man,
during their
man,
childhood.
that's a deep ass point, no cap, man. Like, what's that gonna do to the mind of a child that's developing and trying to understand the world that he or she is in? That's deep.
Absolute confusion and confusion. Who's the most easiest people to control?
A
Confused
child.
people. Confused.
Right.
Confused.
That's true.
So we agree that we need a warrior class in politics forever.
Forever, ever.
Resist the temptation to rest on your laurels, which is what different generations have done after a level of success.
Baby
They
boomers.
got comfortable, and then their children were comfortable, and then their children forgot how to fight. So,
I want
and
this to
we
be
have to
like
have that warrior class
I
forever.
want this to
So
be like
Trump came in.
somebody said something about the smoke. When the smoke clears, I want us to be in a chair, the seat of the throne, if not close to it. It's like red light, green light, one, two, three. You ever seen that Netflix series?
Music and chairs.
You know what I'm saying? Like soon as someone turns around, you're closer to the line. Well, that's what I wanted to be. This whole shit, shenanigans that they're about to be pulling on each other. Listen, I want the Democratic Party demolished. For what they did for the last 60 years, I
Yes,
don't see us ever aligning
crumbled.
for the Democratic Party unless it's us and I don't want even us to be calling ourselves Democratic Party. I want that. I want everything about it demolished. I want a new party in place where we're in a position that we're supposed to be in, and then in the Republican Party, I want us to be in a position where we actually are pulling the necessary strings to have control. I want us on both sides of the fucking spectrum. You know what I'm saying? And so no matter what choice is made, it's us that's making the shot, calling the shots. That's the way I
Yo,
see it,
man,
man.
brother, you know
No
what's
cap.
Hmm.
crazy? When you mention about the little kids and how they putting the books in there, they want to tell a kid how to masturbate and all that. Now Al Sharpton knew that was
Hmm.
Jeez.
wrong. You think he spoke on that?
Nope.
Huh?
He can't because he's sold out.
And then
He's
Al
Yes.
sold
Sharpton
all the
walking
way
through a
out.
daggone what was it, a
Yes.
Costco's?
He's an
Walking through a
imbecile. He's
Costco's
been
and
an
stuff.
imbecile for
You know what I'm
years.
saying? And I'm like, so
He's a
Al
freak.
Sharpton has basically showed and displayed what he has historically done. Run from one white man to another. You know what I'm saying? He didn't run to a black business. He didn't run through a black entrepreneur. He didn't
He
shout out no
is an
black. He didn't shout
idiot.
black anything. No black American anything. He went straight to another white.
And you know what?
Yeah,
Nobody paid
nobody.
attention. P got it.
Oh,
It fell
listen,
flat.
Juan, he got blasted on the neck. They blasted
It
him.
fell flat as hell.
And you got Fat Roland Martin hollering and screaming that old tactic again. He need to go sit down somewhere.
You fools.
He needs
Yeah,
to go sit down
he's
somewhere.
asked. I mean, here's another observation about these people being arrested. A lot of these people look black. A lot. I've already seen multiple Vietnamese people that look like light-skinned black men. W- I didn't see them when I was in when I was in Vietnam. Like, where are these people? Yeah, that's weird. There's Hondurans, Venezuelans. That's not how they looked to me. They looked whiter or lighter.
It,
But I'm seeing a lot of
it could be
people
the cameras.
getting arrested. They look like light skinned people and no, really like light skinned people. Like you really would think it was a light skinned black individual. And some Indian people that look black of all shades.
Hey, Wani, you know what the news is
Really
not talking
interesting.
about?
What?
Trump snatched up like a lot of Chinese. And now,
Oh, yeah, I saw
listen,
that.
Chinese talking about we ain't taking them back a while ago. But
Hmm.
listen, they changed their tune when Trump said, "All right, listen, you know what we about to do, right? You know what?
Get
Yeah,
gangster.
yeah."
Right.
And they said, "Okay, bring them back, bring them back. Okay, bring them back."
But it's millions,
They first
millions.
came over here, right? These was healthy, soldier-like individuals, and they was all marching in line, and it was at the Mexican border, and they let them right. They paused, let the camera see them, but they let them in thereafter, and you didn't hear
Uh
nothing
huh.
about them after that. This was the Democrats was
Thinking about trashing the United States of America,
yes, exactly,
which he did.
exactly
We shouldn't even have to go through all this. We have all kind of bounty hunter programs just to clean up this Democrat mess that was started by Ronald Reagan, a Republican.
right.
Yeah. This.
Now we need to get to the
Yeah.
end at
Doctor
some point.
Johannes had her hand up for a minute, and then we're gonna go to Robbie Blue,
Yes.
then Queen Nene.
No, it's Queen. It's Queen.
Oh. Well.
Peace, y'all.
Okay.
Peace, Professor Allen.
Hey, what's
Peace,
up,
Nikki the
Doctor
God.
Johannes?
Peace, Wani. Hi, you guys. I just wanted to say, as far as housing, I remember hearing you saying, I don't know where he is. I think he dropped down, but I think I understand what you mean when you say sit back and watch and don't say anything.
I'm right here.
I think, I think. I'm just gonna say if you can agree. I think where you're coming from, like especially when you in a heavily democratic ran city, we have like it's this pressure for us to really care about the migrants. Like they got like on the radio, it was a black man on the radio this morning crying about the migrants, and he's a black man. And so I think I understand what you're saying. Like it's like they want to force us to really pay attention and care. And at this point, looking at the 14th Amendment, going outside of my neighborhood every day for goods and services and seeing these immigrant communities grossly supported with infrastructure and support, and then also looking at history and seeing how the 14th Amendment was amended in 1967, like kind of around I th- maybe the late 60s. So you went from seeing
Mhm.
all these black owned businesses, all this infrastructure in our communities, and then somewhere in the 80s it was like, now you see all these immigrants, now we're giving our money to immigrants, and the money is like going out of the community. You starting to seeing devastation. And so at this point I'm like, man, we need our reparations, like, because I'm just driving through these communities today and I'm so angry because it's like they have exploited the 14th Amendment, and us caring about them. And I'm coming in my community, which is a middle class community, but the public, our public corridors look like third world countries, and we don't have all these abandoned buildings. Then you find out that, when you go past these buildings, people just buying them. It's a white woman. I don't know if you guys can research this, but it's a white woman in Chicago. She lives in the suburbs and she owns like mostly all of these abandoned buildings on the south and west sides. And so, people blame us. They look at us and they say, oh, these black people, they're not doing that and they don't want anything. But number one, we have these people doing stuff like that. Number two, the 14th Amendment is not even benefiting us anymore. So that's the thing. It was supposed to benefit us and it did benefit us, but now it is not. And so it's just like, when they want to force us to focus on immigration, and I see my community looking like devastation, and then I go in another community and it's just infrastructure, no abandoned buildings, all businesses open. It's like, no, I'm not gonna. And it's almost kind of hard to even really kind of be outwardly open, because our elected officials actually hold it against us. So it's like we really kind of, that's why I understand what housing is saying, because you really got to walk a fine, you can't be too radical, because if you are, they can really affect your livelihood. It's that bad right now in Chicago where people are afraid to really speak up. I'm in college, my professors are talking about the rhetoric. We're being actively suppressed when we talk to these, when we go to these community meetings. Like I went to one tonight, you know our biggest issue honestly is our educated boule. Like I'm praying that, hopefully they can really see the light and really be honest about what's going on in our community, and also set higher standards and tell the truth, because and stop gaslighting foundational Black Americans. Like when we have an issue, they like to gaslight us. They like to say, well, that's not what it really is. So it's just so much suppression going on. And I'm hoping that, I want to get back to those days where we can openly talk about racism. Like, you go on public access, or, when we were really, really represented. It stopped in the 80s, which is right around the time they amended the 14th Amendment, and they included all these other groups. So I'm hoping that, for the future, we can really start to build. And I'm also just hoping that our educated leaders, that they just really be honest, so that we can get some kind of, because these people came in the 80s, and you go in their communities, like we're trying to speak up for our schools, and we're telling them, like, we want this stuff too, and our Black leaders, it's like they're telling us they can't do it. And it's like we have to fight for that. We just can't blame, point the finger and shift the blame. Like, and it's, I'm fighting for it. But I'm saying the people who are in the public view, they're refusing to say anything. And I feel like,
Are you? Do you think they can be changed? Because I just have the impression that they're evil and they know exactly what they're doing. They're controlled opposition.
it must be. It's something. It's demonic. I
I
don't.
don't think you can tell, change a boule person. That the being boule indicates that they can't be changed, that they're just evil and they need to be removed.
And then they send them on the grassroots too. I noticed that any of our grassroots leaders, they'll send them on the grassroots, and either,
Yeah.
try to kind of like thwart their efforts, or even
Yes.
sometimes they pull us
Exactly.
to the side and be like, or try to split us up, or sometimes they'll try to like reframe what we mean. Like I go through that a lot, like talking to them, and we'll be like, well, we want our neighborhood schools to have access to all of to career pathways that are more expansive. I want to.
And they say what?
And they'll just be like, well, first of all, first they'll say a stereotype. So they'll say, well, we don't really have that in our community, and our children are going through so much trauma, and we have to focus
Hmm.
on the trauma. And I'm like, well, that doesn't.
Versus what? What children are you comparing them to? Mexican children?
Well, I don't know. I
Immigrant
wouldn't say.
children, immigrants.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that
Which
they're comparing them to,
ones?
like, it's just that they make
Which ones do you have though?
Black children. Our children are Black.
No, I mean the immigrant children. What kind of immigrants?
We have a lot of Venezuelans and Hispanics. And they have,
And they're doing what?
well,
They
they
can't
get
even
school
speak
choice.
Spanish.
They get school choice. They get to go to the, like, while they suppressing our children, telling them that they're doing good, and then they test scores super low and setting the bar low for them. These kids, these immigrant children, get to go to the good schools. They get school choice over our children. So they get to
That's
come in
by
our community
design.
and get bused to the best of the best schools. And then they was over here fighting for so-called better schools, and they're actually extracting our funds to help the immigrants. So it's like I can't even vouch
Drop
for
kicked
this.
out of here.
That's
That's
Brandon
why.
Johnson.
Look,
Ain't
we got to move to the next speaker, but that's why we have to get them drop kicked out of here because, no, they're not getting anything.
Yeah, we're still fighting. You guys take care.
I stay
Thank
strong.
you.
Right on. Appreciate you. Robert Blue, educate
You
us.
can you can go with your worst nightmare. She just came up here.
Yeah,
I'll
she
be
wants
polite.
to.
Oh, okay. I just
She
not
wants
just
to
noticed
be.
that. Go ahead. Your
We have a new Mexican friend.
I'm not Mexican, I'm South Asian. And yeah, I am an immigrant.
Oh.
I am an immigrant. I came
Why are you interested in this room
yeah, good
so much?
question.
because I'm on your side. And I'm,
No, you're not.
Ex-
how am I not?
You can't be on our
explain how
side.
you think you're on our side. What is our side?
She's on our side of the border.
We got to change that.
No,
Well,
let's let her speak. I'm curious to hear this. What you say you're on our side, ma'am? What do you mean by that?
well, I want less immigration in this country because I feel like there's too many coming in and too much coming in at such a short time that it's displacing a lot of people. And I'm in New York and I see what's going on, especially,
What country are you from?
huh?
What country are you from?
Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm.
Carry on.
So I was saying, I see a lot of displacement, especially happening in New York City, where they try to put a lot of illegal aliens, especially in Harlem, where they tried to open up a building that was like, meant for luxury, not luxury hotel, but luxury apartments. But it was stagnant for a while, and then all of a sudden they opened it up to shelter migrants in there. And then the community in Harlem was like, what is going on? Like, we you could have used the shelter for the homeless people all over the place, especially the people that are mentally ill and sick that need help, right? And that's what ended up happening. There was a lot of outrage over that. And it's just not in Harlem either. It's also happening all over in Queens, where I live, even in Brooklyn, because they're just opening up, shelters everywhere now in abandoned buildings. Just like the other lady when she was speaking, Doctor. Sorry if I can't say your name.
Your Highness.
Yeah, yeah, and um, every abandoned building, and even the ones that were bad for health, like they had a lot of red tape and caution around it. They did not open it up for safety reasons, but they did need an emergency opening just to shelter, you know, military aged men. That's what bugs me the most is that all these immigrants, these illegal aliens that come through, and it's mostly, military aged men that are coming through, that are defrauding the system, and that are acting as if, they're being persecuted in their country when it's not the case. And the government is just giving everything that they want, and it's also pissing off legal immigrants too that are waiting in line, that have been backlogged for years, almost even decades, and they're having their cases be pushed back for the illegal aliens that are coming through, and they're getting priority because the government is shifting resources from legal immigrants looking at their cases over to illegal aliens and giving all the resources to them. So it's like everybody's being damaged by this, everybody's being displaced, everybody's resources is being wasted. It's not.
Now, tell us what's going on in Bangladesh.
Right.
I don't live there. I don't know what's going on there. I haven't been there since
Mm-hmm.
1999.
Mm-hmm. So, what makes people in other countries think it's a good idea for entire countries to dump themselves on one country?
It's not. I don't support it.
But you did it.
What do you mean I did it? I did it the legal way, and it's done through a process.
Doesn't matter. Why? It doesn't matter whether it's legal or illegal. Why would it be a good idea? It's not mathematically sane. All of Bangladesh, all of Sri Lanka, all of India. Should we get a map and see how many people there are? And they all need to be here?
Well, do you know? Well, do
How?
you know?
How?
Well, do you know the population of Bangladeshis in America?
It doesn't matter. If you
Well,
have
you
the
can't say
idea,
all if you don't know the population, right?
well, I can say all
But
if
that
you
would be
all want to
mathematically
be here.
incorrect to say.
If you all want to be here, you all didn't get on a raft and paddle over here, but you all want to. Why should we be subject to your presence because you all want to leave? Like they polled the continent of Africa, 80% want to leave. We can't take in 1.3 billion people just because they refuse to fix one country over there. Like, what sense does this all make? These people are coming from great, beautiful places with great weather, And they're shoving themselves on other people and they think it makes sense. How?
Hey,
It doesn't make
they
any
think it's nice
sense.
and don't understand why we're angry.
Well, no, I totally understand your frustration. It's just that illegal aliens are
Okay, so what
surpassing.
language do you speak? What language do you speak?
I speak
Your native
English.
language. Your native
Well,
language.
English is my first language, first and foremost. I can't speak Bangla. Like, I haven't spoken that in years.
Okay, so you know when you pick up the phone and they say, if you speak this, press that. How many languages do you think is going to end up on there if everybody from every country drags their butts over here? What sense does that make? And they all want prior. Oh, the Vietnamese, we have a big population. You have to listen to Vietnamese, you got to listen to Spanish, you got to listen to this and that. Why should we go through that?
I totally
Why?
agree with you on that.
It should be one language.
Absolutely.
Why do
Absolutely.
I have to wait for all of you? You're talking about you're upset because immigrants are being pushed ahead of you. What about the dozens of people that I have to put up with?
I totally agree with you on that. I'm on the same page with you. There's no reason why an immigrant comes here and doesn't know the language, and this is one of the reasons why I would love to see English become the national language. And it's unfair how, you guys or and everybody else, not just.
Now let me ask you this question. If a Chinese person goes on vacation and they're having a great time having a Spanish holiday, they're going all food they're used to, they're in their little house in China. Where can I go to be an American? When I get finished going somewhere,
Preach.
where can I go to be
Preach.
American and do American things and hear Americans speak? Where do I find Americans? I don't see any of them.
Just
I just see foreigners.
You're speaking to the choir. I really wish that a lot of the Democrats can share your sentiment because I totally agree with you. It's not fair because this is the last frontier of freedom, right? If we lose this, if Americans lose this country, then where else is there to go, right? And it's a shame that a lot of.
It's over. You guys already ruined
You
it.
can't say that you're a comrade when you can't understand how you yourself are a problem. You know,
But I
It's already ruined. I have to listen to dozens of language options. I can't speak to an American on anything. I can't see a fucking
Preach.
American. I haven't seen a fucking American in a long time, and I live in California, my home state. It's gone. I don't even want to talk about New York. Where are the Americans?
Well, I think it's unfair to attack a lot of the former immigrants because I am a naturalized citizen. I've been a citizen since I was a kid, a baby. So at this point, I'm a fully assimilated American.
You're not an
I
American.
speak English. I'm well assimilated. I know the history of this country. I don't know anything else. I haven't been to any country since I was a baby. So, like,
That's not our problem that you don't
okay,
know anything
that's
else.
fine. You can hold.
If your parents dump off an anchor baby, what does that have to do with
I'm not an
us?
anchor
You're not
baby.
American. You're not American.
Okay, but that.
You don't know what it was like in the 20s, 30s, 40s and 50s. You know why I do? Because I got to listen to my grandmother talk about things that happened in her time.
Teach.
And I got to listen to my mother talk about her time before I was born. And I got to listen to those people. So I have a long, long lineage of knowing what's going on. But somebody that just segues in here in 1999 and says, oh, I speak English and everything's okay. I'm not an issue. You're not American. You don't feel American. You don't smell American. I don't feel like you're part of America. And I want to see, at least see more Americans than someone like you. No offense. No offense. But I want to see more of Americans. I'm tired of hearing this immigrant story over and over and over again. I'm tired of listening to it.
You guys mind if I ask her a question? I wanted to
Mhm.
ask your worst nightmare question. In your own words, what does it mean to be an American?
I think whoever wants to be an American can be an American. If you believe in the Constitution, the First Amendment right, the Second Amendment right, the Bill of Rights, American philosophies, you understand the struggles of this nation, the oppression included, the expansionism of this nation. If you thoroughly understand what it means to be an American, is by understanding its history from the beginning until now,
So so
and
so
also the
so you're saying by that same logic, if I really truly believe and study enough and take enough tests, I can be a Chinese.
I can't speak for the Chinese, but I can tell you for the Indians though and Bangladeshis. If you were to go to my country, right? And if you were to learn about Bangladesh history and language and dance, music, art, all of that, anything that makes up culture, you would be considered a Bangladeshi.
You
No,
just
I
hold on,
would not.
Wani,
Man,
Not
you are
Wani.
ethnically,
full
not
of
ethnically,
it.
but nationally, yes.
I wouldn't be anything but some American woman that was passing through, and you know it.
No,
But you just said that's not
nationality
your
wise,
country.
you would be Bangladeshi, not ethnically. That's
No,
completely different.
different.
But didn't you say that's not your country? You American,
I consider myself an American national, yes.
but you're not American.
But you see, you can
You're
call
an
me,
anchor baby.
I'm not an anchor baby. I wasn't born here. That it doesn't work like that. So,
And you're an
and
immigrant.
yes, I'm an immigrant and then I became a
Okay.
naturalized citizen. But
There you
here's
go.
the thing.
That's an
But
immigrant.
here's the thing. I'm an American national, but my ethnicity is something different,
Doesn't
right?
matter anymore.
My ethnicity is something different. So like
Hmm.
obviously I'll never be like an American ethnic. For instance, you guys like miss on the spot. You are ethnically an American because you are an FBA, right? So a foundational Black American. So that makes you ethnically American. I
Because our ethnicity was created here.
correct.
Yes.
100%. I agree with you. I of course I would never have that, but my children will definitely have that title because they're going to be mixed.
Well, hold up. Your worst nightmare.
Holy,
One thing I
holy,
want
holy,
to
roly.
correct
So
you
you
on.
go with a black man.
Are your parents, hold on, are your parents naturalized citizens or did they come here? Like what was their immigration status? Because depending on the changes they may make with the scope of immigration, they may retroactively change some of the naturalization based on the 14th Amendment. So, like, did your parents naturalize or were they born here?
They were also naturalized legally.
See, and this is the interesting thing that we try to say when we try to like educate people about the legacy of white supremacy and it's white and I say so. Just keep in mind that what's his name? The border czar, he kind of said it in a tongue-in-cheek way. He said, "We're starting out going against against the criminals." He said, "But anybody, right, who was not born here, that has their immigration status based on that loophole in the 14th Amendment," he said, "they're technically illegal." And they even said that pretty soon they're gonna go into schools, they're gonna go into hospitals. Like in other words, they're gonna really be expansive. So I just think that this is just what I believe, and we all have gotten that basic indoctrination about what the American dream is and how American works. But I think it's capitalism that drives people here, not patriotism. But it's not capitalism that'll keep you here. And when it comes to the power, they have their brain whitewashed and they will slit their brother's throat to make a dollar or to stay here. But remember, racism is a team sport. And that's what we're doing right now. As we observe, we're seeing what team everybody's playing on. Some people are getting their license to provoke to practice whiteness revoked. And that's where we're sitting back with our popcorn because they're not as white as they thought they were, and they can easily get that license revoked. And then it doesn't matter about merit. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how many language you speak. If they say you're gone, they're gone. And it's funny. because they're starting to put East Indians on the hot seat. Like to a white supremacist, they don't care if you're from Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. They don't care if you're uh who's that guy Dowson from Street Fighter. You know what I'm
Pakistan.
saying? They ain't gonna care.
I was going
I'm
to
just
ask her. She says something about her children will be. Your children will be what?
I said mixed race.
So you go with a black man.
Hello.
Puerto Rican.
Mm.
Does he
You'll
have
still
his
be a
papers too?
foreigner.
Puerto Ricans are indigenous.
No, 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 no,
Not to
no, no,
No,
here.
they
no.
not.
No, 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 Diddy.
You won't. She said she would be FBA.
Oh yeah, you better off getting a
How?
black man. I'm just saying. You might be a little.
That's what
You
I
might have a
thought
little
she was going to
security.
say.
How will you be? How will they be FBA?
I didn't claim that.
Okay, so they'll just be more immigrants piled up in making America not
But
American
why do you
again.
why do you guys say Puerto Ricans are immigrants?
They're second class citizens declared under the U.S.
That's a
Yeah, that's
territory.
just a
That's a
territory under the
territory.
U.S., but they're the second class citizens, just like Tonga.
They don't have anything to do with our lineage here. They're just immigrants that got lucky that we own that territory. Okay? Just like the Virgin Islands,
And Tonga
U.S. Virgin Islands, Hawaii.
and Samoa.
None of those people are ethnically us. And they have nothing to do with the transatlantic slave trade as far as what happened here on this soil. That's why you don't hear them babbling about anything about reparations except when they're trying to be con artists. They know better. So you'll just be an immigrant here, an anchor baby immigrant with some other guy who's leeching off of the big land because they're on the islands and they don't like it and they want to be on the big land, right? Leech, 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 leech. Parasite, 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 parasite.
Is your partner a melanated Puerto Rican, or is he one of the white ones?
He's all mixed. He's like indigenous, black, and white.
How
We
long
talking
has
about
he been in the
color.
in the states?
Since he was a baby as well.
So y'all both on the radar then.
Well, he's Puerto Rican, so Puerto Ricans, when they're born as American citizens.
Nah, no, no, no. On the contrary, my friend, that's not the way it works. They're still
They're
second class
given Social
citizens.
Security. They're
They're given
given
Social
Social
Security, but
Security.
not residential status. They still have to go back if they fuck up.
They're free to travel anywhere. They get the
Why is
passport.
everybody desperate to be
No,
over
but like,
here?
how the laws work, they are part of the territory. Yes, they're part of the 50. Correct. Same with Tonga. Same with Samoa. But if they come over here, it overstays the visa because they still got to get visas. They have to get paperwork, even though they're part of the territory. They're second class citizens, just like with the just
No,
like with the
sir.
other territories the English
That's
have. You
no, no,
know,
no. That they he doesn't need visa to travel. Like Puerto Ricans, you can go. It's like
Okay, I
any
don't
other
want to
state.
talk. I don't want to talk about Puerto Rico anymore. Thank you. Let's move to another topic because I don't care.
I just hope you got your paperwork straight. You seem like a
It's
nice person.
just
I just hope your paperwork straight.
it's just not American. It's not Americana. Where can I be American? Did they all go somewhere
Nope,
else?
Sister Wani, they have pockets everywhere trying to be like us, and it's all off taste because they ain't got our seasonings. This is the only place where we could be us. Everywhere emulates it. That's why they come over here trying to do it the best, and that's why they get on our goddamn nerves.
Let's talk some shit right quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk some tactics. Let's talk some warfare. I know a couple people here served and know a thing or two about warfare. And let's look back at history to give us a clear lens in which to view it. The Japanese, very disciplined, dignified people they lost World War II. And the Japanese tactical leadership came to a conclusion that they couldn't fight this system um, you know, with kinetic warfare. So they shifted gears into trying to understand economic warfare, right? And the Japanese um, uh, uh, perfected uh, economics. They studied. They shifted gears into studying cars, studying our automobiles, finding out what we like about automobiles. They bought American cars, broke them to pieces, did them better, did put them back together so much better that we start buying Japanese cars, and they fucked us up with economic warfare. You understand? So let's look at it this way: what's the chance that certain countries that wanted to attack America because so many people despise our beautiful democracy, what's the chance that they decided another form of warfare of sending refugees to us, sending people to us to infiltrate our culture and to dilute our culture from the inside out? Why am I coming up with this? Because that's how Rome fell. Rome fell from corruption from within. Too many cultures too many cultures diluted it and tore it to pieces from within, and I'm watching the same thing happen to America.
Absolutely. And we have to feel guilty and we have to be accommodating. These people don't have to go through that. They can celebrate what they want in their country. They don't have some little flea on the side going, we think it should be done like this. Say it in my language. They don't have all that.
Yeah, and it's
Sister Wani. Oh, go ahead, Professor. Go ahead.
oh,
Go ahead. You got
I
it.
just brother gonna quickly say it's a little disheartening to hear. I'm gonna study real hard to be an American when we just don't have that option with other countries. I can't study hard to be a German. There's no test for me to take to be a Chinese, you know. Um, I will be a permanent outsider in these countries, and you know what? Yeah, I can't argue with that.
The idea that you think being an American means taking a test and not being hyper foreign with accent and whatever else foreign people do just dumbs it down. You don't even know what American is.
It's actually a little sad because I don't think the young lady means any harm, but
Yeah, I know.
that's what she's been propagandized to believe is I'm gonna out American you. I'm gonna take a test and make a higher score. It's some type of slick competition. It almost sounds like that African stuff, you know?
Professor, it's because they're, see, once America became a superpower and then they started practicing globalism, as you guys say in the 80s, that's exactly what they were thinking of doing because they said, look, we can control the rate that these other countries develop. And in the process, we do foreign direct investment. Their greatest weapon is their culture. So you have these Europeans going around here, you know, uh, exporting their quote unquote culture, which some of it was our culture, but they also made sure they did a sifting process and they were looking for people in these home countries that they could westernize so they could control the government, get the resources they want. And just like they did, during slavery, where they would reward a slave with freedom if he did something for massa, where they reward people with the fast track to come to this country, right? By saying, hey, we can't make you white, but we can give you honorary white status, right? By creating this class system within your country. So you have people who don't even want to look back and help people in their home country. And then they make sure they give them a fresh dose of anti-black racism so they don't ally with us, but then they'll also tell them that we're this group of people that they can come exploit. So that's the other sin of America because it's like first they exploited us after Reconstruction and during slavery, but as they did practice globalization, they allow Koreans to get an inroad with the hair products. We've had a lot of these Pakistanis, a
Yes,
lot of these
right.
Southeast Asians come in and they open up gas stations, do all this. And here's the thing, and as American middle class is shrinking, right? And there's this because they were thinking with globalization they could prevent a world war and they could, pimp out these other countries. They didn't expect China and Russia to be employing the same tactics. So now it's kind of like this second Cold War, so to speak. And I think these people are very much aware. That's why Brother Tariq says a lot of these people aren't breaking their neck to go back to their home country because coming here is the first step to ultimately watching white. That's why people will try to perfect the language. It's all about blending in and camouflaging because at the end of the day, they don't want to be treated like somebody from their home country, and they don't want to be treated like somebody with no power and no rights here. That's why they always do those public lynchings of us. That's why
Right.
they do George Floyd. That's why they purposely do all these things, because they're like, whatever you do, don't ally yourself with those people over there, over here, who actually are the ones who probably fought for you to have the right to come over here, because we were the only ones doing a kumbaya thing about humanitarianism. Everybody else has chosen white supremacy, and they turn their back on their own. And that's why, so when they do something in your home country where they smack your people around, or they do economic sanctions, or they conscript them to go to war, you can't say anything because you're already sold out.
Well,
And I land my
Robbie,
plane.
and that is to support, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, that's to support the new royalist system based off the feudal system, where amalgamated whiteness is a second tier, the nobility. If you look at the pyramid I just put in the jumbotron, the another thing, and I'm gonna shut my mouth, that gives me pause. No disrespect to your worst nightmare. No disrespect. Don't take it the wrong way. But it's how. Let me put it. Let's flip it this way. If I was in Bangladesh and I took a test and I was real passionate about being Bangladeshi, and how could you trust me when I left my people, my blood, the people who I have a spiritual, physical, and spiritual responsibility to protect behind? How could you have a level of trust with me when I'm saying I'm Bangladeshi, when all my people, the women that I'm supposed to defend, are in Alabama? How can you build a level of trust with people who run away from people who need them? I guess this applies more to the men than the women, but it does apply to the women.
Should I answer the question?
It was rhetorical, but you
Oh,
can shoot at it if you want.
oh, I wasn't sure. I thought it was rhetorical. Um, so basically, in Bangladeshi culture, well, actually, South Asian culture in general, like if you accept their culture, that's a high form of them, trying to get to know them. So they value that. They cherish that very much. It's very sacred to them. So that's why, and they also understand, like, if an immigrant comes to, let's say, South Asia, that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to assimilate to, because it isn't a, well-known culture, well-known language. It is extremely exotic. So they do tend to cherish, the efforts that are made by outsiders, where they're trying to learn the language,
Well, well,
trying to
well,
learn the
well.
culture.
If you look at American history and American culture, we have a culture of defending land. We have a culture of defense, a culture, Second Amendment of defense. So one of our values is defending your family, serving your country, defending your countrymen. So within our view, from our lens, running away from home is a sign of cowardice, and a sign of not being able to be trusted. So that's a cultural value with America that a lot of outsiders just don't seem to comprehend, or maybe they don't want to see it.
I'm not sure. I don't think that's the case. Maybe it was the case like back in, I don't know, let's say.
That's what I'm doing. I'm telling you that's the case. There's a culture here of defending our land. Some states just straight up have stand your ground laws. Are there stand your ground laws in Bangladesh? If somebody's breaking in your car, breaking your house, can you stand your ground? Probably not. I bet you probably can't own a gun in Bangladesh. So this is perfect, because it's a teachable moment that some cultures, like some languages, are lost in translation, and you get people over here in America trying to superimpose their cultural views on us when there is no translation. They don't apply.
I agree with you.
Yes.
I totally agree with you there. Like, people that come here and don't want to accept the First Amendment, especially the Second Amendment, that to me is non negotiable. If you come here and you want to end the Second Amendment, get out of here.
What about the caste system that's part of your
Uh-oh.
culture?
What about it?
A lot of people bring it with them over here and bring it into
Get them
jobs.
out of
Yeah.
here. Get them out of here. Deport them.
What about if they're naturalized citizens? Hello.
Then you throw
They've
them.
already destroyed. They've already destroyed the tech industry with their horrible, horrible institutionalized racism. See, we don't need more of that.
Yeah, you can denaturalize and then
And
deport.
then when you sue their dumbasses, they turn around and go, "You're against our culture. You can't sue us. We're a religion. We get to practice our religion. And oh, by the way, our religion is racist as hell." You see the
And Wani, it's
problem?
worse than that. You know, it's worse than that because the Democrats will say, well, you can't call them racist because they're also a person of color. So it's just like a double
Whatever. I
whammy.
guess we're
You
gonna
bring,
get in
you
trouble
bring,
because
you know
they.
what I mean? You bring it.
Damn if you do,
Go ahead.
damn if you don't.
I guess we have a problem on our hands because I'm definitely gonna call them racist no matter what they say or do. They're the architect of the Indian Constitution said they were racist and they were going to be a menace anywhere they moved. That was in the 1920s, that they would be a menace
Which
if they moved to other
which goes to my
lands.
point. These outside countries are waging war on America with culture, and our politicians have either refused to see it because they are too busy focusing on foundational Black Americans, or they were getting a cut of the check or something. But this is a cultural war. I mean, I'm a historian. This is the same thing Japan did. It's brilliant. You know, Japan said, I can't beat you this way. I tried A, I tried B. I'm going to hit your ass with C. And C was successful. And other countries have realized that they cannot fight America in a kinetic battlefield. They can't fight America in a technological battlefield. We'll wear their ass out. So they're going to send some exotic women. They're going to send some, um, cultural aspects, some food and fight. And people don't even realize they're at war. And
Some exotic
there you
Bangladeshi
go.
women.
And that, no disrespect. I'm not trying to be. I know that seems laughable, but if you look at Chancellor Williams, that's how Egypt fell. Exotic men coming over there. Ooh, look at him. I never seen a dude like him before.
Oh
In
boy.
200 years, those mixed race children declared war on the Egyptians. Because
Mm-hmm.
they refused. I'm not black. I'm eight. What did they say? What Chancellor say? Yeah, yeah. I'm
Blasian.
not black. I'm black. Yep. And
Egyptasian.
a war weakened the fourth cataract. And we're calling it out. All jokes aside, we're calling out. I'm calling it out as a historian of what we're looking at. America's culture is at war. And why is it taboo for me to stand up for the culture that I was born into, the culture that my family's been in since the inception of this country and before the inception of this country? It's taboo for me to stand up for it? I think not.
Okay, so, I said what I had to say with respect to immigrants. Um, and they're selfish. They're very, very selfish. They never think about what they're doing to the host country ever. They don't even care what they're doing to their children. They're throwing their children over a 14-foot wall. They're offering their children up for sex so that the smuggler takes their child in. All they care about is getting in. They don't care about anything else. I'm surprised the international community has not come over to the Western Hemisphere and said, "What the hell are you people in Mexico, Central America, and South America doing to your children?" Because it's definitely trafficking. It's definitely smuggling. It's definitely throwing them over a 14-foot wall and breaking their bones up so you can come over here to do what? Look ugly in New York, look uglier in Chicago, and look even uglier in Los Angeles. Is that your goal? Because you've definitely got that one going. You've done nothing. Not one of these people has done anything except come to go to somebody else's school, come to get somebody else's job, and come to get in someone else's house. They have not accomplished one thing.
I just want to remind you guys that you guys got Clarice, Demfa, and the real.
Right.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Who was first, Robbie? I stepped away for a second.
It was Clarice. It was Clarice,
All
I
right,
believe.
Clarice, what's on your mind?
Peace and positive energy and motion to the space. I wanted to speak to um, the Bangladeshian. Why do you not have pride or love for your culture and your heritage?
Because it's trash.
So let's stop right there.
It,
Stop right there. I'm gonna let you land your plane. Thank you for your honesty. A lot of immigrants have, naturalized or not, have that sentiment, and that the basic premise that you would turn on your own culture makes you not make me not be able to trust you. Carry on.
I'm
yes.
I'm
And
confused.
so, okay. Yes, definitely appreciate the honesty because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I love myself. I love my culture. I love who I am." And at the same time, they're talking out of the side of their neck because they'll say everything that you said since you've been in this space.
It's a
As
backwards
well
culture. It
as,
has no respect for women.
okay, hold on
They
a second. Hold on. Hold on a second. And as well as when you were expressing how you believe that you are an American. And then when a question was asked about certain things, when you gave the information that the Puerto Rican is indigenous, and someone said no, they're not, and you wanted to give pushback, so you don't know what it is. You're not an American. You don't know when you say if someone really understands the the political, the inception, different things like that. You do not have the full sculpture. You're nowhere near having even 5%. You do not know at all. You have no clue. And I'm aware that when Wani was speaking to you and the other person was speaking to you and they were attempting to give you information, you kept saying, pushing back. Like you know what you're talking about and you don't. It just makes you sound very ignorant. But however, you're gonna come up here and say that you're on an American side, the lies you tell. The lies you tell. And so again, like Professor said, I'm not trusting anyone like that. I don't want anyone like that here. I don't. There's enough challenges that we have that we deal with on a daily basis. We don't want no pretendians. We don't know. Respectfully, please leave. Please leave. Peacefully, quietly, please leave. Because that is what's best for Americans. Not this, oh, I'm fake loyalty or what is the word? Allyship. No, we don't want fake allyship. Nope. Please leave because that's not helping anyone. You're not even
I
helping
removed her.
yourself.
I'm not against her, but I just, you know
No,
what?
it's not about being against. I'm just
I just
It's not
my
about against. That's why
nerves.
I said please leave peacefully,
You know,
quietly, respectfully because the truth is the truth. It's not going to change no matter how much people don't like it or don't want to accept it. The truth is going to be the truth. And I'm always on the side of truth, no matter what it is.
Cause if something happened to
I
this
land.
country, she'll leave and say America is trash too and get citizenship somewhere else. So there's really no loyalty when they run and hop from place to place. What are we talking about? She said her own culture was trash.
Yeah, I'm glad Professor said, yeah, I don't trust you like that. And I'm like, yeah, please leave the country. Please do.
Leave. Like
Because we don't need that. We don't.
or go to take you and your homeboy go to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, oh, go over there.
Now, you know what? If you would have kept digging, if you'd have kept digging, she said, my children in the future are going to be mixed. So ultimately, what she's
mhm.
saying is, I'm going to wash from trash to white. So I got to go from brown trash to white trash to hopefully becoming a
Uh
blue
oh.
blood. So they've cut their ties off from their home country, saying, "Look, I'm trying to hit the racial lottery to become white. So maybe white boys ain't digging her right now, but she's hoping she can be the progenitor of somebody that will wash white. She could be JD Vance's wife. Maybe that could be her daughter or granddaughter. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. No, I mean, when she said she didn't, respect her own culture, that's really off-putting. I mean, South Asian culture is nice. It's the people that have the problem.
Mm.
It's hard to explain, but yeah, they have men problems over there with rape and stuff like that. But some of the cultural ideas in the region are very nice, and it's a shame she doesn't respect that. Because that's going to be a big problem with her identity and foundation. She needs to respect that and understand her South Asian culture. I understand it and respect it. I just don't like the people.
Well,
Maybe I just like the ancients of these places. I just don't like the present day people. No, I don't. And I don't want them hanging around and making big neighborhoods and looking at me like I'm crazy.
well, that's just it. That's part of that cultural attack. It all boils down to the basic unit of culture is a family, and a family is comprised of two of people, right? So in a relationship, um, how can you have a relationship with somebody if that person doesn't love himself? So to love yourself, you have to accept and respect every part about you, right? I'm cool with every part about me. I'm cool with the African genes. I'm cool as hell with the Native American genes. I'm cool as hell with those white genes that are raging through me. I love the total me, right? But when you have somebody who thinks that her or his or her culture is trash, that's really self-hate, and that attitude seeps out and manifests itself in different ways that ultimately poisons American culture.
It does. There's nothing they can do about it. Like I said, hanging out with her would not make me feel like I was in America. No offense to her, but if I want to be around someone like her, I'll go to South Asia. I'll go to Southeast Asia. I'll go to Southwest Asia. But I should be able to, as a human being, go somewhere that has that Americana feeling. And unfortunately, they've destroyed that feeling here. It doesn't exist, or it's nowhere that I can see it. Maybe I will see a pocket of it someday. Maybe they will deport enough people so that it feels like America again. And we don't have to say, excuse me, we want to do American things. And we have to run it past 70 different uh, ethnicities and ideas and accents and languages. At this point, there's no America.
I think it was Dim and then the real. I don't know if somebody's
Dim,
talking.
dim, gotta make up a new name for you. Let me see. What about D's Nuts? You got rid of that account?
They got rid of it for me, man. They got rid of it
I
for me.
wonder
Man, do
why.
you used to have an
One
account that said that? No, you didn't, mean.
Hey, did y'all find out where she was?
Um, so y'all I knew once I didn't interrupt that somebody was gonna hit it on the head, man. It just always happens, divine intervention, whatever. But there was two things. She's not here now because y'all done ran her out quickly but swiftly. Number one is under no means does an invader or what do they call people who run away? Not a flea, but people who used to run away from war, they would kill them. If you ever seen Game of Thrones, the first episode,
A
that's
deserter?
a deserter.
deserter.
You know why? Because if you are willing to abandon your allegiance to your people, then you can never be trusted to that level to have an allegiance or form an allegiance with any other group of people. And you know, I know y'all all understand, and I guess that's the side of your empathy. I still have a little empathy left and stuff. You know, like for example, under no means do I feel like children should die or anything like that. But as far as her and everything, she said one thing. She said the reason why she didn't like her culture, she had alluded to, they don't respect their women's voices. You know what I'm saying? And saying that to me, is like, you know, um, woe is me. I don't give a fuck about it because in our community, our women's voices weren't heard, and we aligned with our women at some point in time, and we changed that, and we still do. We do. We as a Black Americans, we hold our women in high regard. You know what I'm saying? That's something that she should have stayed in her country and worked on, and maybe dedicated her lifetime to doing that. But instead, she abandoned any standing or position to do any of that to come someplace where it was already given to her, right? You know what I'm saying? And that kind of that led me to wanting to ask the question to her if she was here is, do you think that we need you? Do you think that we actually like need you? Because it seems like that naturalization process makes people think that we need them. You know what I'm saying? Like as if they're helping America, like them being here benefits America. By them even calling themselves America is a smack in our face. Because if she truly knew the history of what it is to truly be the golden standard of American, which is us. We hold that standard. I don't care what anybody says. Ain't nobody, I already said this before. I don't know if I said it today already because I say it so much. Ain't nobody more patriotic than us. Ain't nobody more committed than us, and ain't nobody have the most resilience in this country than we have. We have brought the most. We have created the most. We have manifested the most. We have done the most. We have changed the most in this country. We more than built this country. Because even as the builders of this country, the architects of this country, we are still tasked with, I would say, teaching these people how to be civilized. And all the new people that come in, we're still tasked with even teaching them until the point where we're like, nah, man, we're not teaching these people no more. Get them the fuck out. So I just really question how is it that she feels like by, what I'm saying, telling her own people that they should be kicked out this country, that somehow, what I'm saying, validates her commitment to America. No, that only validates your commitment to opportunism. That's what that is. And somebody said capitalism earlier. No, no, no. Capitalism is more economic choice of words. Opportunism is beyond that and below that. Opportunism, for anybody who wants to know, let me give you the definition because I want y'all to really start using that for these people. Opportunism is a behavior focused on personal gain, often at others' expense. That's the focus. Ethics, often viewed as an unethical or exploitive. You tell me how the immigrant is not exploitive. Tell me one immigrant or one immigrant group or that's not exploitive. They all exploitive. Scope, a behavioral tendency that can occur in any system. Long-term impact often leads to negative consequences such as inequality or distrust. You know why? Because all these people eventually want to be eventually will either have children or have other people that will fall into the same scope, and because one person that you met like her aligns with you, it'll open the door to other people who are like her who want to take control and want more and more, and incrementally they eventually don't want you in the fucking same discussion of this country. And we see that with people like Vivek. We see that people with people like what's that other Indian motherfucker, man? But we see that with the tech industry.
Dinesh D'Souza.
Yes. The tech industry. Thank you, Robbie. The, the tech industry. You know what I'm saying? First, it was just a few of them. They probably was all nice and smile in your face. But I was in the tech industry. And then when they started doing the outsourcing and COVID happened, which ramped up the outsourcing and everything, and then moving now they out here vocal, loud and proud, talking shit, calling black Americans lazy, saying that we're uneducated. They even saying white people uneducated. You know what I'm saying? So it just shows you that yeah, they'll be your friend. They'll give you a handshake. They'll tell you they understand American and all this shit, and that they took some tests and they're naturalized. But it's only a matter of time before they trying to kick your ass out of your own house. You know what I'm saying? And remove you from any level of power or any level of voice, of having a voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be fooled, man. They're all the same. They're all one particular organism, and every single group is another organism. And Black Americans, we are our own organism. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we have to look at it. You know what I'm saying? We have to look at it. So yeah, when she talked about having, she thought that was an aha moment. Yeah, I'm gonna have a child. And my man is Puerto Rican. I'm with a Puerto Rican. The Puerto Ricans are even fucking worse.
Big deal.
Fuck, they're even
Who
worse.
the hell
In fact, in a
cares?
few years, if not now, we need to start pushing the fucking declass or to eliminate Puerto Rican from being in American territory.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's easy work.
The fuck? What the hell are they doing for us? Besides
Nothing.
becoming a new, what they
Coming
call them,
over here.
the Nouveau Yorkers. What they call themselves?
Coming over here calling themselves Spanish Harlem,
The fuck out of
imagining
Actually,
here.
that
the
they're
United
from
States uses
Spain.
Puerto Rico to dump their trash. Literally, you can look that shit up.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. But I know they call the island of floating trash. Perhaps they do a large. Perhaps they do a lot of exports of mangoes and shit. But you know,
Mangoes.
yeah.
Oh, you know what Trump did
That's
to
it.
get their votes? He just threw in paper towels.
Yep.
Was it paper towels or toilet tissue rolls?
Paper towels. Either one, it didn't work.
Somehow they managed to come over here, and they would they participated in the creation of a culture that all stems from the blues and jazz and and
Mm-hmm.
gospel and shit, and all of a sudden, you go out there, what what commonalities? Not even dancing. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? You said something that was interesting that I thought about before. So if their women are lame in these countries and they're not able to fight for women's rights, which is a big problem globally, how are they going to ever get them if they're a bunch of cowards that just run away? How are they going to get these if they want to come over and take the fruits of white American women and black American women only? Only. The other people didn't bother. And Europe just copies off of whatever we do. Okay, they don't even have a brain. They're doing that. Okay, we'll do it. But what about these other people? They don't have any women's rights. They don't even want them. I've tried to work with them on women's rights, and they told me that their grandmothers want them to have FGM and they want it because they don't want to be prostitutes. So they're to the level of brainwashing that's way, way out of bounds. And you can't work with them. And they said, that that's their culture. Okay, fine. I accept that. But you're also in the same tongue complaining about not being treated right and having a rock slapped upside your head when you cheat. So, which way do you want it? Do you want women's rights or not? Because their attitude is we'll just go run over and hide behind the people that don't let our men beat us up, don't let our men hit us in the head, and then we get over there and complain that we want to put it Sharia law in and get our heads bashed again. No, they're too confused to immigrate. They're too confused. So they need to go over there where they hit each other in the head with rocks. And at some point, they'll either evolve to have less violence toward themselves or they'll just have a whole head full of rocks. It's really only a
Oh,
couple of
head full
ways
of
to go about it.
rocks.
I was really confused that the only two she says she knows American history, but she only could focus on the First and Second Amendment, and she never spoke about the 13th, 14th, or 15th in the Black American space. You know what I'm saying? Which by the way, the 14th Amendment is what basically even got her. Like, help me understand. You skip over the 14th Amendment, and just constantly kept talking about the First and Second Amendment. It's saying how much you know about American history. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think we were dealing with a knockoff. You know what I'm saying? The fact that she even kept calling herself American was disrespectful. Like I said, what it is to be an American, these people don't have the prerequisites. You know what I'm saying? Just say that you are an immigrant and leave it at that. You ain't American anything. Or say you're a citizenship of the United States. Notice I say citizenship of a citizen of the United States. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Talk
right.
about your allegiance with the government. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, I'm making the decision if you're an American or not because I've been called not an American by you know who was never an American. The people
Can I
saying
ask
that
Professor a question?
immigrated after my people built this land, they weren't even from the settler class. They weren't even Mayflower people. So I'm going to make the decision if you're an American and no, you're not. If it's
Teach.
not the
Sister,
demographic, if it's
Sister
not
One.
the demographic that was here in the 1950s, get out.
Preach.
I just had a quick question to ask Sister Wani or to anyone. Do you think it's a coincidence that they keep uh, trying to bring people over who used to function with a caste system? Because it's almost like they're
You seeing it,
preconditioned.
Robbie.
You know
You
what I'm saying?
seeing
Could
it.
be, could
See,
be.
you see,
I mean, I think it's
because
really that they're so overpopulated and so undeveloped that they're just running away from themselves. That's what I really think. They're overpopulated and underdeveloped, and they're just trying to get the hell up out of there as fast
Hey,
as they can. Because the
I'm
Chinese
saying
people
the
did it.
Latinos have a caste system too. The Latinos have a caste
They
system, and
do.
those East Indians.
I don't
Hmm.
know what kind of belief systems Chinese people have. They have just general racism, but they overpopulated and they have gotten themselves into everybody's country to the point where people are fatigued with them. They've even started charging people in places they never charged them because of all of them piling up everywhere, overpopulating little places like Venice, Italy. I mean, it's too many of them. They need to go do something with themselves.
It's a war tactic, but I wanted to bring this to light because I witnessed this in three different local government, um, basically three different cities that I've been in local government commissioner mayor meetings or councilwomen councilmen meetings. I've heard immigrants come into the conversation and basically take priority from Black Americans talking points and conversations by talking about what they experienced in their home country. And that's a tool that I think, or a strategy of why y'all asked about the caste system and why, people come here with their, from these different caste systems and their different societal structures that, cause disparities and discrimination. Well, they come here with that and they basically engage themselves in American conversation, specifically talk about addressing a specific group, and then they're used to conflate and derail what needs to be done to address us. They're used as tools, you know what I'm saying, to derail. And this is no coincidence. This is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? White women did it. You know what I'm saying? White women did it here. And all these immigrant women and men, but I've usually see the immigrant women do it when there's a conversation going on what needs to happen in our communities. They're used as the person that should be specifically as an exotic speaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we need to really be privy to that because you see how she came in here. She would be a perfect candidate that a politician would use to talk about, the favoritism of this country, her favoritism of this country, and what she faced in other places. I know y'all have heard those before. Well, y'all Black Americans want to complain about here. Well, wait until you go to my country and complain about that and see what happens.
I,
You know what I'm saying? America is
I
great.
think she was a troll.
Oh, absolutely. If you go through her feed, but I didn't want to. Yeah, I was reading her stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, but y'all caught it. But anyway, that's all I had to say. Thanks for having me.
I have a question. Where are the Mayflowers? Where are they?
There's 35 million of them. I don't know. I don't know where the Americans are. Somebody tell me. I think they dispersed everybody by flooding everybody's neighborhoods and everybody's all mixed up somewhere.
Aren't those the yuppies? The yuppies are descendants of them. Today's yuppies, aren't they?
No.
No,
No?
it's not
Okay.
like that.
They,
It could some of them, but no, it's like it was 102 of them, and they say that now they have 35 million. So, um, they're just blended throughout,
and it's
basically.
rare to come across them. Like I don't know where Ann Coulter is, but she kind of talks like a Mayflower. You understand? Like I can't I really
Yes.
don't know where they are because it seems like everybody else is super racist and super, you know what I'm saying?
Italians, Jewish
Yeah.
people, all of these
Yeah.
wannabes.
But you
They're
know what it
hyper,
is?
hyper racist.
They came because when they came, they did it the right way. So they've assimilated. They've assimilated. So now you have the descendants where they are. They're here somewhere, but they assimilated.
Wani, may I say
Well,
something?
I don't mean to scare y'all, but many of the Mayflower whites and some of these other groups left at two points in time in history. During the American Revolution, they fled. So the white ones fled, who had the privilege to. And during the Civil War, remnants of them fled. But guess what? I don't want to. This is the scary part.
To where?
This is the scary part for y'all. Many of them is in your bloodline.
No, we already know
Yeah.
that part.
So y'all asking where they are. They
No,
became.
he
They some of
said,
them
You
became
said they
black.
fled.
yeah, some of them did become black, but you said they
Where
fled.
they
Where do you
yeah.
feel they went? Because they said there's 35 million, but they didn't say they were all living in the United States of
Yeah,
America.
that's what I'm saying. They went other places, but I can only imagine Europe. Different parts of Europe. If they made it there and then they stumble upon someplace else that the ocean took them to, but they definitely fled two different times in history. We know for sure.
I can't
You know,
imagine them like fleeing, but what I do know is they do pass down generational wealth. And so I know that there's a considerable amount of them and they now own football teams and stuff like that. Yeah. So I don't know. Because there are companies that are still in existence and they still are profiting from slavery. So but I don't know, are they just all rich and all
I
get
just
it?
I just think I think that they're mixed, that they have spread around the United States of America because they've been here a long time like us, and we're in every state. And then I think that when they dumped all these new immigrants in here, they just got,
Amalgamated.
covered over. Yeah, they got covered over. There's some mixing, but it's not an ethnogenesis like ours. It's
Did
definitely
the Mayflower
not.
ever make it here? Wait a minute. I got confused with Ellis Island. Did the Mayflower ever make it to this part of
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, Mayflower people. Then you have other early groups. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Aren't those the ones that are they the group of people that went to Boston? Mass
I don't know.
Or
I
the
gotta look
people
them
with
up a little
the
bit more.
because
who are the
some
people with
of
the
them
horses and stuff? The Amish? They would be considered that, right?
I
yeah,
don't
that
know.
and that's
You know, I'm gonna look that up
I
tomorrow.
think you know what when I just realized I'm like wait no I'm
A lot of them is in
thinking
Pennsylvania,
of
Wani. The Amish.
Yeah, I like them.
Ellis Island, but
Used to
yeah,
get things from them.
so Ellis Island is the 1900s. The Mayflower is 1600s. Mayflower whites. Just wanted to just throw it in there, and also,
Yeah.
yeah, the Amish. Believe it or not, just like what was that religious group?
Well,
Many of them were actually abolitionists. What was the
Yeah, like
Quakers?
They
Quakers.
Thank
they showed
you.
us
yeah my
love.
college
I ain't gonna hold
yeah
you.
that's what I was because I have remember with one of my
But
college
the
classes
Quakers
and
is
we
the one
talked
that
about
started the jail system. Am I correct?
and so we talked about I learned about the first group that came over here um and they a lot of them died and then of course because they were escaping, and then of course you go to that. But I think there might be some of the people that were just like somebody just said it. I think Amish
The Amish
and
came
what's the other
here
one?
in
Somebody just said it, but I
1700s,
forgot because I
by the
got
way.
off. Um, but yeah, I lost my train of thought. I was
Can,
about to say something, but
Wani,
then the
can
person
somebody
cut me
tell
off. I
me
don't
where
know
the Normans is from?
that person. Can you? Can maybe he can't hear
They
me.
prison
Okay,
reform,
I
but I
will.
don't think they started it, if I'm not mistaken.
Wani, the Normans,
Yes.
where they're from.
Let me look them up real quick. I'm trying to bring. I think Clarice left the stage. Hold on a second. Clarice, if you're in here, can you request to come up?
I think you got somebody the real with their hand raised too. I don't know if y'all can see it. I see somebody with their hand up. I don't know who it is.
I remember watching South Park, and the Normans. You talk about
The
um,
ones in Utah.
yeah, you talk about
Oh,
you talk
you
about
mean over
religion.
here?
Yeah, you talk
Oh,
about religion founded by, I think his name was like John Smith. It was from I remember seeing that in South Park and looking into it and stuff.
But they
You
still
talking
a
about the
group of white people
Mormons?
too, right?
You talk about the Mormons.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not the Norm.
oh,
Oh, I
Mormons. I
pronounced
was
it
like, the
wrong.
Mormons. Why are we all over in Europe?
Yo,
I
yeah,
pronounced it wrong.
you're talking about a religion, man.
Okay,
It's a religion, and it was practiced by followers of John Smith. I think his name was John Smith. Somebody correct me.
they don't have anything
Yeah,
to do
man.
with anything. They're just weird.
And
Was it Brigham Young?
The
Brigham
Amish
Young?
people were Germans in another group. I can't remember, but it starts with an A.
I know their bank account was in the trillions.
I don't really know too much about that. I just know that I met many Mormons when I first came to Georgia. There was these white boys riding on bikes, going knocking on people's doors.
Did they have on white shirts and black
No,
pants?
blue, yeah, white shirts and yeah,
Blue?
white shirts and blue pants. Yeah. Mhm.
Blue? What are they doing wearing
I
blue
don't
over
know. They
there?
had blue pants on, and they had
They gotta work. They
Did
gotta
they
get
did they
their
ride
wardrobe
bicycles
together.
where you
yeah,
were?
they ride bikes and shit. Yeah.
What kind of shoes?
I don't know, probably cap toes. I don't remember all of that.
Any glasses?
No, 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 no. Blonde hair,
Goofy
yeah,
hairdos?
blonde hair. Yep,
The crew cut.
goofy ass. And
Floppy
and
blonde
and I
hair?
remember, see, I remember one thing about Mormons, right? They had in their book, they say that people who chose to follow the devil or chose to be evil were made black. You know what I'm saying? They were black.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, when I said that to them, man, they started sweating. I'm like, why would I want to be a part of y'all shit? You know what I'm saying? And
Look,
it,
now they got a whole nother
if you
story
if you
for
open the
us.
door, if you open your door, right? Once you open the door, these people will they'll walk right in your house. I swear. I swear. If they're not like the Jehovah Witness and stuff. You open your door, they'll walk right in as if like you're welcoming them. It's something that's like that they all do. Like in
Is that like the black eyed children where if you let them in, they do stuff to you?
they didn't do shit to me. I learned the first time when the first one walked in, I said, "Excuse me," and I was like, "Yeah, I ain't welcome you in my house and shit. Like, who are y'all? Like, what the fuck?" He's like, "Oh, we just
You
want to
know how
talk to
their
you. We just want to
religion is.
talk.
You could
We wanna talk."
But you know how you know they have a powerful religion that's really true?
how?
They're not dead. How the hell are they walking in people's houses like that and not getting killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess
That,
they
you know
had that
what? That
group.
worked before the age of the school shooters. They dress like school shooters now. Or somebody from the Geek Squad. I'm like, hell no, y'all ain't safe no more.
Geek squad.
Has any of y'all ever had that
Oh my
experience though,
god.
where y'all be,
Yeah.
yeah, that they, all
They
right.
they're goofy. I'm like, I always find
I used
myself
to smoke
like
weed with some of them.
mothering them. I mother them. I'm like, you can't go up to people's houses and walk all up in. You can't do that. I go into mother mode because they're just
But
too
Wani,
goofy
they
Can I
for me.
they run Utah, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah, but they're
Can I
still
tell y'all a
goofy.
quick story? So my mom, but so two of
Sure.
them came to our house when I was a teenager, and my mom, which is the woman in the picture, and my dad sat and talked to them. So they left. A week later, Four came to the house. My parents invited them in, talked to them. They left. A couple weeks later, six of them came to the house. And I was trying to figure out why these white folks keep coming to the house. But my parents were preachers, and they were so like dynamic in the Bible and other religions and all kind of stuff. Like they were just superb. And so finally, th- my parents got invited to go to their thing and declined because they told them that they weren't educated enough to even have the talk. So they left us alone and never came back.
Mm.
Oh yeah, once you outsmart one of them, they leave
Wow.
you alone.
Yeah.
I've been through that myself when they tried to pull up to my house on some bullshit. But that around that time, I was becoming a little ordained deacon and fuck they asses up. He's all like, do you want to hold the book?" I was like, "Nah, brother, that's not the right Bible." Yeah, I was sitting
I
on my
think
yeah,
it's
cause
really bad
I was
enough.
sitting on my porch, just doing my thing, enjoying my tea and my little joint and shit, and they just thought they can come up and talk to me, not knowing who the hell I really was.
You went into the preacher mode.
Man, I was the super deacon that day.
Man, I would love to see
Keys
them
to the
roll up on
building.
some Hebrew Israelites. I would love to see them roll up on some
Oh
Hebrew
my
Israelites. That
God.
would be
That
pay
would
per
be
view. That would be
insane.
pay per view.
Let's arrange it in the
It's
room.
one, two,
That would
Let's
three,
be
get
four,
pay.
them in the
five.
That's
room now.
right. That's right.
Oh man, I would pay to
That would
see
be.
some shit like that.
I will debate all of them at the
I could
same
imagine
time.
That's.
what kind of reaction you think it would be.
Oh nigga, that'd be a sight to see, brother.
Fun.
Would y'all be open to living like the Amish?
I wouldn't
Yep.
mind, but not you know what?
Definitely.
Not really, because I like technology, bro.
You can
I don't
have
know.
tech.
It
They
Why
thinks
do
like
use
it'd be
people
like
think
Get
that
technology. They
Out.
Amish
just
people
hide
don't
it.
like? I don't get
They
that. Like you can
hide
still
the
have technology
technology.
with and like
N-
you can live like Amish people and have technology.
But they don't allow. I hear
No,
like
They
they
have
You
had
what I
know what
hear
the
from
listen.
problem with
hearsay.
living with the Amish? The problem with living with the Amish is there's at least one or two Negroes that will test the limits of their Christianity or their racism, because their daughter be like, "Mom, I'm gonna go to the mall. You know we don't believe in going to the mall. I forgot to say I'm gonna go visit your mall." See, once that happens, they'll be like, We allowed y'all to come around. We expect you to mess with the farmer's
I didn't
daughter.
say live
See,
with the
you,
Amish. I said live like the Amish. I'm talking about like our own
Yeah, do it
homestead.
anyway. Now the
Oh yeah,
Amish,
see,
let's
I
go
can
over
do
them
that,
real
get my
quick.
own homestead and all that shit. Yeah, that's for sure.
yeah,
But
yeah,
They
exactly.
living
the
with
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
living
they
with them,
The
nah.
lifestyle is
they
wonderful
are
though.
no, not with them, like them. I'm not living with them because then they'd be milking cows and stuff at inopportune moments, and I don't want to be bothered.
but Wani,
But they started in the 1600s as an Anabaptist movement in Europe, and they trace back to the Swiss Brethren. Wow, it's a tongue twister. So they came over here because people were bugging them when they were trying to do their thing over there.
They just wanted to be left alone.
Do they get out of
Yeah,
paying taxes somehow?
probably.
Yeah,
There's
they
a
do.
But they do use technology
yes,
behind the
yes.
scenes. So
Listen,
Yeah,
This
because they
is
have to sell their stuff. So
yeah,
yeah, so
it's
they do
online.
they'll put out stuff, like online on certain sites and stuff so you can buy their stuff. And of course, they'll wagon their stuff to
but
the
they,
farmers market.
but listen, they said they was trying to stop them for selling it, and this is one of the reasons why they went
I
go
heard
vote for
about that.
Trump.
I heard about that. They've been for
Yep,
the last Joe Biden and them been
yep,
sending them little bugs over there to eat they shit up, like sabotaging their farmlands and shit.
yeah,
What?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard that
yeah, they was
too.
doing that
Yeah.
shit. They was sending
That's
invasive
why they voted
species
for
No wonder
Trump.
they
and then
said
finding them and taxing
they
them.
got on them
listen, they
buggies
said
and
they
went
didn't
over there and
vote,
fucked
but
Trump
they
Trump
up.
said
arrested
the
them.
whole team down there in PA went to go vote for Trump, for Donald
Yeah.
Trump
I'm voting
on
today.
horses.
We
Yep,
voting today.
yep, that shit. I remember that shit. They was sending them bugs, spraying they shit, taxing them. And I was like, that's what they gonna do to us. Once we start leaving their asses alone, they gonna come just like that, talking about we can't grow
Listen
food,
about
start sending them bugs and shit in there and spraying our shit.
Hey
I have
Capone. Hey
seen people
Capone.
yo
complain
fam
about
about
that.
three
Did you
about
ever?
2.5 years ago, right? Did you notice all the chicken farms with Stiracy blew up? Why was that? What
Yep.
was that about? In different parts of the state of the country.
Oh, we have a hand
Oh,
up.
okay.
Nug.
How you doing, Wani? I think the real had their hand up first, so I yield behind them.
I'm sorry, I didn't see any other
Okay,
hands.
thank you very much for letting me speak.
Sorry.
Professor Wani and Nikki, thank you very much. I'll make it short. I just want to say I hope to see the day when black people can actually trust each other enough to develop a national fund, a fund that we can all donate to on a monthly basis. I think we can make a goal of maybe $500 billion, and we can accomplish that goal with ourselves. The problem is that a lot of black people, even though they'll give their $43 or $45 a month, they will make up reasons why they don't want to contribute because they'll say they're suspicious of who's running the money or who's governing the money. I think that's very important for us to develop within our people a sense of trust so that we can begin to do things for ourselves. Primarily, like I said, the national fund, a national FBA fund, that we can contribute on a monthly basis and have a goal set of $500 billion within 10 years or 15 years. That will give us great leverage for politicians, for businesses, for schools and education and all things like that. I believe that's a goal. It's simplistic in nature, but I believe that it can be accomplished. On a
I think we're capable of doing that. We have some smaller things going on like
American
that, but
Freedmen
not on
Legal
that
Fund
scale.
is a good one.
Yeah.
Sons and daughter of freedmen.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I agree with all of those, and I support all of those. But I'm more leaning towards a national fund,
Hmm.
something that
Yeah. Sounds
yeah
good.
that we all can get be a part of because within 1 month we can raise hundreds of millions of dollars. We already spend $1 trillion a year into this economy. I think that it would
Two
be a
trillion.
little over a trillion.
2 trillion.
Well, 2 trillion. I know it's a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, we in the game deep. We got big
But
money. We just
y'all
don't spend it with
overlooking
each
that that
other.
money is used
Is is
for living, for cost of living. Like y'all are
that
overlooking
that's
that.
true?
Like
That's
that,
true, and
yeah.
it's supposed to be 3 trillion, 3.6 trillion if we
Well,
were actually doing like an average American.
well, that is even that gives more merit to what I'm saying because we have the ability to donate to a national fund, and within a short span of time, we will have money to leverage with. I think it's a big thing as far as trust. We gotta really come together as a group. To build that trust amongst each other economically, also, and then on another note, FBA, when I think of FBA, Foundational Black Americans, I don't make distinctions between our people. I feel like I've been loving my people since I was born. Um, and FBA to me means from the richest to the poorest, and I think we should focus on trying to unify around that premise and be more loving and caring about our people, no matter what station of life they're in. Everybody has something to contribute. We should look for ways to include people and not exclude people based on their financial status in life or their educational status in life. Everybody can contribute. Strength is in numbers, and I think we really need to focus on that as a premise for unity. Just the strength in numbers, and that's all I want to say. Just add that Wani is a tremendous voice in the FBA community. She reminds me a lot of Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, and I just love the work that everybody's putting in, and Nikki and Professor Allen, and to everybody in the chat listening, the group listening, and everybody from Black Alpha to Afro Elite to the one brother that's in politics. I forgot his name, but
Marcel.
Marcel, yeah, that brother's a very dynamic brother. And so I tried to take little notes of what I was going to say. I waited so long, but without, I don't want to take up too much time, but I just want to say that as far as unity goes, that we need to kind of broaden our perspective on how other black people that may be less fortunate can be included and be involved. And then we also need to focus on how can we build this trust amongst ourselves so that we can actually contribute to a finite national fund like the Freedmen's Bank. We take that over, run out of the tethers out of their immigrants, run them out of there, take over an institution that actually is respected and trusted by our people, and we begin to throw them dollars into that national fund so that we can also do for self while we are uh, campaigning for our blood debt that's owed to us. It's one more point that I wanted to make. Damn, I waited so long I forgot, but hey, it must not been meant to be. But much love to everybody. Peace, blessings.
Thank you.
It's a
Thanks.
beautiful conversation. Oh, it hit me. Okay, as far as any immigrants listening, people that are birthright citizens or people that came to the country, say I came here legally and blah 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 blah, whatever. What people America itself is delineating in a sense. Even the government is starting to catch a wave of what the FBA has been, the code that we have been on. It's not about you being necessarily an immigrant and qualifying yourself to be American citizen. America is eroding from the inside out, and that's due to the fact we have people with dual allegiances. That is what we must destroy in the society. We don't need anybody in America uh, caping for America with dual allegiances. When we pledge allegiance to the flag, and as kids or whatever, we are taught to pledge allegiance to the flag. We don't have an alternative flag to pledge allegiance to. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America. Now, these people come here and whether they want to admit it or not, they have an allegiance to their homeland. And as long as you're in a country and you're vying for that country and you're advocating for that country and all of that, as long as you have a part of you that has some semblance of an allegiance to another country, you cannot add on to this country. You cannot build in this country. You cannot even be trusted in this country. And that's what we as Americans are getting rid of, dual allegiances. If you're an American, you have one allegiance. That means do not come here flying your flag from your country if you claiming to be an American. I'm tired of all these Mexican flags being waved in the mouth from California. I'm from Compton, California. And let me tell you something. It makes me sick to my stomach when I see Mexicans in California waving a Mexican flag. That's
Facts. I'm in the Bay. They do that shit too, bro. So I know what you man. I know it.
it's disrespectful, and it's un-American, and it shows that you have a dual allegiance. So you can never be trusted, and you can never be a part of the society that's trying to move forward and repair the damages of the society. Because when shit hits the fan, you packing your bags. You're out. You're out. We can't have that. We need to be a unified front. As far as white supremacists, we know them. We're used to them. We've been with them for 400 years. So therefore, we're not rattled by that. We know how to deal with whoever is going to be an enemy to us because we've been dealing with that enemy for 400 years plus. So, but the thing about Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, immigrants, is that we do not have a dual allegiance. Our allegiance is to the country of our birth.
Well, I remind the stage that that's how Rome fell, was from within with corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed y'all. We'll get a couple more speakers.
Thank you so much for letting me speak. Thank you.
Oh yes, sir. No doubt, no doubt. Uh, we'll get Snug and Let's see. Yes, Snug has his hand up. Go ahead, Snug. Land your plane.
All right. Yeah, thank you for letting me speak, Professor Wani. Nikki is amazing space. Actually, I had some of my family tapped in, tuned in, especially on that earlier part, Professor. We was talking about that red Alabama clay because I sure enough looked at my arm and I was like, "Yep, there that red clay go right there."
We're from the
Hell,
land, man, and I travel the world, bro, and people look like the land that they're from. They do, like in Africa, like that, West Africa, like it looks like it's deep dark chocolate, and the grass grows in these little like knots, like court, like it's real pretty, but like little coarse hair, and we look like the land that we're from. That's just what it
hey,
is.
hey, the women would eat it. You go deep enough down in that clay, at least around my neck of the woods, the women would eat it oftentimes when they were iron deficient. All of
Oh
that
yeah,
Yes,
stuff.
my grandmama used
yes,
to
we
eat. That's
did.
I totally forgot about that.
Yep,
Just sure did.
we used to
Hmm.
eat the clay.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah, and then Wani was mentioning earlier, this is probably the first 20 minutes of the convo about the different types of clay. I think there's like three or four different types, but primarily around that Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi belt, you get that red clay in that area. And that's the milk and honey of the country. I was having this conversation earlier with a Puerto Rican guy, and they not them Latinos do. They come here and they start flipping and turn conservative, and they like, oh, we need to get these immigrants out. And I say, when is America going to be what America is? And I said, listen, it won't be. Getting the people out is not even part of it until until they're honest about the was extracted out of that red clay, and then it was used to provide the wealth in the north. I mean, the cotton factors are the ones that bought the factories up to the north. So
Right.
as long as people want to huddle around those coasts and stuff like that, and not actually go in and do the agriculture, it's never going to be. As far as those Normans, somebody said Normans before. Those were, as Wani said, those were Europeans. Somebody has said that they were Anglo Saxons. Speaking of that, Roman Empire is split into the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire, and then those Germanic tribes started fleeing all over Europe when those Huns started invading them. It's around like 400 8 B no CE or AD. The Anglo Saxons went over to where we have know as England, and then the Normans invaded them. I think around like the same time the Moors were in Iberia. But y'all corrected that. I think they're talking about Mormons. As far as where are the Mayflower folk, not only are they still here, they get reparations still today, or they get payments and checks just for being Mayflower
I
descendants.
knew it. I knew it. I knew they
Yeah,
had that bread.
yeah, they get checks still to today for being Mayflower descendants, and what it was the population control. Their numbers are still small. You remember these states were thousands, not the populations were real tiny. In some states, there were majority slaves even in the north, and so they use immigration to do things like keep us below 20%. When I say us, I'm Black American on eight sides. Dothan, Alabama, Henry County, Houston County, all of that for the LA folk, lower Alabama, not Los Angeles. And they just use immigration waves. I always think of immigration as waves. It's not like a waterfall, so it's more like a ocean. And as the waves keep coming in, they use them to try to mitigate Black Americans growing in numbers. So they're still here. It's just the numbers are really small. And then they use people like the Scots Irish, the original Quakers or crackers, the English called them. They started going up in those Appalachian mountains. Some mixed with the Portuguese, creating Melungeons. Shout out to Stankin Lankin. But yeah, they had those robber barons, and they were small numbers. The Salem folk. Somebody said earlier that if you weren't a certain thing, they would label you as black. That's what that Salem witch trial was all about. Less about the witches and more about the tuba. But I was just taking some notes here, some things that were said. I don't know everything, but I just wanted to fill in those parts there. Just the numbers were so small that when you bring in those mass waves of immigration, same as us, they kind of get flooded out. And they wanted to get away from those immigrants coming in. So you get things like the Western expansion and manifest destiny. So, some of them were the ones that were going over in Oklahoma doing the land runs and the land rushes and stuff. the Sooners and all of that. So they just kept migrating west and west, and they're scattered all over the place, just like we are. And I'll land on that. I appreciate the conversation, and yeah, this was a good one. This was one of the ones, Professor. I'm looking at that red clay on my skin right now, man. You got me wanting to get some of that sweet potato pie with the graham cracker crust. We bougie down in LA, Lower Alabama, so I'll land on that.
You
Oh, I
ever heard of
appreciate you, bro.
Conecuh County?
Tanika?
Kaneka,
Yeah.
Kanika,
No, Conecuh.
Kaneka.
I thought it was
No,
Tanika.
we over by that Okeechobee Lake or
I
river.
know
That's
where
where
you at. You ain't too far from Troy. I know exactly where
big
you at.
gas, you fall,
Yeah,
all of that. The boat,
uh-huh.
your enterprise, and everything. That's the creek. When people say Creek Indian, that's
The
the
creek,
creek. That
yeah.
that Muscogee Creek
Mm-hmm.
right there. And my people never went. They stayed down in Lower Alabama. That's part of my reparation claim. We split. When the Civil War happened, we said get that mess out of here. When I did my lineage, I'm like, oh, so 1,500 acres is what we got around here. Still got my last name, Stovall Drive, on that red clay down there in Henry County to this day, right next to the church that we got on the Alabama Historic Register. So do your lineage, y'all. You'll be amazed at what you might find. You might actually still have your name on that red clay down there.
Red Clay all day. We're gonna give Capone last words, and we're gonna close the space. Capone, what's on your mind, man? Take us home, Capone.
All right, Professor, Sister Wani, Sister Nikki, family in the room, love y'all, man. Black is beautiful. And just to go off that brother's point, yeah, we need to get a little financial situation going, like we discussed in the other room with the resorts and all that. Once we get something foundational going for us, like this 14th Amendment situation that just got put in the spotlight, a whole lot of greater things are coming from my people, and I'm really, really, really energized with these 4 years it's finna bring us. And I just want my people to stay safe. We got to look out for our women and children and carry a weapon to protect yourselves. And I love y'all, and I land on that.
Thank you, Capone. Ladies and gentlemen, the 14th Amendment, delineated, um, de facto delineated. That's crazy. You know, that's what it is. Tomorrow we're gonna pick up another subject, and I'm gonna see y'all same place, same time. Rendezvous spot tonight. Tariq's. Wani, you have any last words?
Good
Nikki,
night.
last words. I learned a lot today, guys. In conclusion, I really like the Bangladeshian young lady that came in here. She taught us a lot about views and superimposed views on American culture. I do look forward to watching this recording and taking notes. I enjoyed y'all, Robbie Blue. Stop by more, Robbie. IGZ, Men's, Patty Cakes, Miss Eddings. I ain't seen you in forever. You rolling through. Arthur, thank you for being here, Arthur. I
And,
appreciate you.
and Professor, I appreciate you.
Here's Miss
Yeah,
Settings.
that was
Yeah,
Hi,
that's
Miss
me.
Settings.
yeah, yeah. I saw her name. I was coming to you,
Oh,
housing it.
How's
I ain't forgot housing and no taxation. I ain't forgot y'all. I was saving the best for last for
My
six.
my name is Dim, man.
Oh, yeah.
Good
All right,
man.
dim.
Nah,
No, no,
Big
no,
D.
Everybody,
Nah, it's
everybody.
Big D.
You have
I'm
to know this
calling
is
you Big
men's.
D. I can't pronounce that.
Chris
Pause,
Highland,
man. You can't say Big D, man.
M. Const, Welsing up in here. Thank you, Welsing. You so sweet. Noel, Miss Stacy, Tawny New Black, Mikhail and his genius up in here. You know what I'm saying? Righteous anger. I see you. Uh, Kim, Shannon, Lex, FBA Rita, J Smooth, and the rest of the family. ALN, Black Lady, and it's too many to name, but I love all y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow.
Peace.
We coming with, we coming with that fire. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye, Money.